Hi, welcome to episode 4 of the Nagasaki podcast. We're back here with Redcap again for another media analysis episode. And we got Chemotherapy on again because he wanted to watch a movie with us. This week we watched.
Episode 4?
Yeah, I recorded shit without you, man. This ain't just about you. This is the Nagasaki podcast.
Hey, I just didn't know. I thought, okay, anyway.
No, I'm doing the media analysis stuff with you, but I'm just doing just normal talking with other people. Um, we watched The Princess Bride.
Back in my day, television was called books. Boomer meme, 1987.
Yeah, it's crazy how fucking even back in the day people were pulling that type of shit.
My guy, people pulled that shit in ancient Mesopotamia, except it was about books and not verbal storytelling.
Kids these days using paper. Back in my day, we wrote with chalk on a slate. What are you gonna do when you run out of paper, huh?
Literally, it's like everyone wants to be a writer. Like, this is a real recorded slate from fucking, what was it, ancient Babylon or Mesopotamia, one of them. And it was literally about how everyone wants to be a writer, nobody remembers their stories anymore, and how society is inevitably going to collapse within 10 years.
Real. I think here's the thing though. I think society is in a constant state of collapse. I think that everybody that said that the world was ending and society was collapsing, they were right every time. Like just cuz literally everyone didn't die, that doesn't mean that like the fabric of the world as they know it didn't change majorly.
Okay, you may start with your hot take about the film.
It wasn't that good. I think
It wasn't supposed to
you immediately knew that I was gonna have a fucking hot take. Yeah, when I finished watching it, I sent in the Discord chat the meme of like Hideo Kojima saying, "I watched a movie," and it was I watched The Princess Bride. Um,
Yeah, I mean, people. It's a foundational film, but it's not meant to be like this huge thing. It was made to be a fun jaunt in like a low-level, low-magic setting D&D campaign, basically. All right.
yeah, as a D&D
I mean,
campaign,
rogue,
it might have been
fighter.
fun, but it just kind of wasn't.
I mean, this is before D&D became big. So
It wasn't. I wasn't looking at this through the lens of D&D. I was looking at this as just a movie. I mean, I can throw out my actual criticisms if you'd like, if you actually want to hear it.
Go ahead. Sure.
The main character was the least interesting character. I think that the side characters were much more interesting. Specifically, the Spanish guy was like actually interesting.
Inigo Montoya.
Yeah, I think the main character was boring as sin. Obviously, he does love his love interest just because of what he's willing to go through for her, but we didn't actually see them fall in love. In fact, in my notes, the first thing I have written is this girl likes a guy that only agrees with what she tells him to do. This says a lot about our society.
And it did back in 1987.
Literally
What was his fucking
1987.
catchphrase?
Yes, that's when the movie came out, 1987.
I was unsure if Andre the Giant's character was meant to be a literal fantasy giant or just a big guy. When they introduced the life-sucking machine, I felt like that was way too far into the movie to introduce magic. I couldn't. I'll get to the big part last. So I'm gonna skip that for now. I was when the main character died, Wesley, I think his name is, right? When Wesley died, I was like, damn, they got balls if they actually keep him dead, and they didn't keep him dead. So whatever.
The cliffs of insanity. All right.
I think I couldn't tell if this movie was supposed to be a comedy or not. It's not necessarily that there were even bad jokes. It was just that like every 20 minutes there'd be one thing that I could see that was supposed to be a joke, and I felt like the tone was the issue, right? Like the writer obviously knows how to write clever characters, but he just kind of wasn't doing it that much. Like the main character in particular was a boring sack of shit. Like I said, every once in a while you get hit with something, but I can name like 3 jokes that I actually found funny. Let me scroll through because I have them written down. When the girl rolled down the hill after him, after pushing him down, that was funny, but that was 40 minutes in. That was the first joke, and it was 40 minutes in. which again, the tonal whiplash, because it's trying to be like this heartfelt story, but then every once in a while you get like a fucking Looney Tunes ass joke, but because the whole thing isn't a Looney Tunes ass story, it's not. It sort of just breaks the pace, right? The torturer, I found the torturer really funny. I wish we saw more of the torturer. He was the most interesting character in the whole, the funniest
Yeah,
character.
Torture is awesome.
His coughing from his voice, that was the second funny thing in the movie.
Nobody survives the machine.
The third funny thing in the movie was when the main character was like, "So I'm here till I die," and he was like, "Until I kill you, yeah." And then let me find the fourth funny thing. The sandwich joke, the Miracle Man, was kind of funny. And that's it. That's all the funny.
Sandwich joke. What do you mean the sandwich joke?
He makes a joke about a sandwich. I don't remember. It wasn't very memorable. It was just the last thing I thought was funny. The priest I fucking hated. His voice being weird wasn't funny at all, but you could tell that it was supposed to be funny. And I've had people quote that shit to me. Don't you please? I've had people. Here's the thing. This movie, the fucking issue with this movie is the fucking fan base. I could tell going into it. This is one of those things that's been overplayed to the like I might have enjoyed it more if other people weren't shoving bits and pieces of it with no context down my throat my entire fucking life. You know, I knew what the man was going to say. The moment he said marriage in a weird voice, I knew every single word that he was going to say after that.
Relax a little bit, man.
If it was supposed to be a comedy, it needed to be more of a comedy. It was too serious, and then every once in a while you'd get what was meant to be a funny bit out of it, and there was tonal whiplash. The vibes were horrible. I have positive things to say as well, but I'm just sort of getting my big fucking hot take out here.
Okay, you got your hot take. Like, let me just say, comedy films in the 80s, way more subdued and subtle. Like there were tons of
there's
jokes
subdued
that
and
you probably
subtle.
didn't register as joke.
It's one thing to be subdued and
Because-
subtle, but it's another thing to just not be funny is the thing. Because there were times when I could tell that they were trying to make a joke, and it just wasn't funny. You want to talk about subtle comedy, we can talk about the weirdly big crowns that all the royal people wear, like the cartoonishly large crowns. That is like a subtle joke, sure. But, Maui, I have a wisp. It's not funny. It's fucking annoying.
Okay, who the fuck names their kid Buttercup?
That's not that weird of a name, especially for like a princess. That's like a cute name. She's named after a flower.
What about Humperdinck, huh?
Yeah, that was a weird
How
name,
about
sure.
Humperdinck? How about Tyrone, the six-fingered white man? Tyrone.
I didn't actually catch his name, so.
His name is Tyrone. Oh, what's it? It's a.
I would like you to know that the name
and last name.
the name Tyrese actually dates back to ancient Greece, and so a white man being named Tyrone is not out of the question.
Anyway,
Okay.
we've skipped like 2 pages of my notes because I had a fucking play-by-play.
Oh, I've skipped all around my notes. I was just hitting on the big topics. I'm not like reading down every single note I have. I just sort of. I really like the grandfather and the grandson. I think that their dynamic is really good. Like I said, I think the writer knows how to write like good and clever characters. I just don't think this story was the best attempt at that, just because of how bland the main character was. Everyone surrounding him was interesting.
I really like the grandfather because I'm a really big Columbo fan, and the fucking grandfather is played by Columbo.
I didn't realize that.
You're very intelligent. Shut up.
Yeah.
You know,
No, I like that.
It's a
I like the
bunch of
dynamic
yeah.
between them.
mhm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
One last thing that bogged the quality of this movie down for me, and it's just me. It's no one else's. The girl Buttercup. She looks like a combination of my first girlfriend and my girlfriend that just broke up with me, and it fucked with me the whole way through. It genuinely filled me with a pit in my stomach through this entire movie, and I can't blame the movie for that. I can't blame anyone involved in the movie for that, but it did affect my enjoyment of it.
That absolutely colored your entire view of the movie.
It did. But my criticisms with the humor would be regardless. But it definitely
Mhm.
made it harder to sit through this because I felt a fucking pit in my stomach the whole time. Wesley also kind of looks like my friend Victor, but not enough for that to actually matter. Just in a way where I was like, oh, that kind of looks like him. He could be like his uncle or something.
But like, you didn't get the like, you didn't find funny the. You seem like a decent fellow. I hate to kill you. You seem like a decent fellow. I hate to die. Like, that wasn't funny to you.
I enjoyed it. I didn't think it was funny. I thought it
I
was
smiled.
interesting. I thought it was interesting
A lot
characterization.
of yeah, there's a lot of like low level, not laugh out loud, but like
Yeah,
like funny jokes in
I
here.
I
Like
enjoyed
yeah.
that
that's what
exchange. I
carries the
didn't see it as a
movie.
joke. I saw it as just sort of
Okay.
witty characters.
Subtle jokes throughout. You know,
Yeah,
that's the kind of joke I'm talking about.
But there's a lot of
that's
not subtle
exactly how I
jokes,
felt.
and then the not subtle jokes are what I have issue with. It's not
Yeah,
it's
like
the vibes. It's not consistently a comedy. It's a normal, serious medieval story, and then every once in a while you get a joke that comes out of left field that kind of doesn't fit with the rest of the story.
yeah, the way the movies these movies worked back then, because we're so enlightened here in the 2020 of 4, and like all of those like light low level jokes were supposed to get like chuckles out of people, and then the big fucking obvious jokes were supposed to break you. Like, you were supposed to get like, it was supposed to raise your hackles for the funnies and then break you with the marriage. Like, it was supposed. That's how it was formed. But we're all internet brain poisoned. Family Guy, 100 jokes per minute.
My issue isn't with the structure. My issue is that it's not fucking funny. I
I
understand
think
the
you can't really
structure. I
blame it for
understand like
being like
small witty jokes mixed in and then larger like crescendos. I just do not find it funny. I have it written down here. The rodents of unusual size is meant to be a joke, but I just do not find it funny because it's an accurate description of what they are. That's it.
okay. I found the rodents of unusual size funny because everything was fucking named like that throughout the entire series. Where it's like the mountain, like the cliffs of madness,
The
and like I
Cliffs
thought
of
like
Insanity.
the cliffs of insanity. Yeah, and like everything was fucking named like that.
The Screaming Eels.
Yeah, the screaming eels. Yeah, that caught me off guard because like I thought it was gonna be like a low medieval fantasy type thing. So like
The eels
I sort of expected
screamed.
more
They
fantasy
are
type
screaming
things when I saw like the
eels.
screeching eel. Yeah,
It's just an accurate description. It didn't seem like a funny naming scheme to me. It just felt like the writer was giving things very obvious names. It felt like a very simple story. It didn't feel like it was a joke. It
yeah.
just felt like they were giving things simple names, which is not a bad thing. Like, I feel like this
It's kind of.
movie
I feel
would
like
be
it's sort of.
better if it wasn't trying to be funny. If it was just this story played straight, I would have enjoyed it more.
I sort of. And I had a better time with it because I sort of viewed like all those like things as like anti jokes, where it's like like they're just like taking it all like very seriously.
I was taking it seriously, though.
Also, I
That's
feel
the
like
thing.
I'll give you my word as a Spaniard. Worthless.
I feel like
That that was
I was
I enjoyed that
I had a
exchange as
better
well. I
experience
thought that
with
was
that
clever.
character. Like
Yeah,
nobody in
in
the fucking
Nico.
Philippines talks about the Princess Bride. So
In
like I've
Nico.
not.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
So like I've heard nothing about this film. I bet. Well, like I feel like Naga is tainted by like like everyone talking, like everyone gassing it up, like how good it is.
It's a
Uh,
problem.
Absolutely. That's the issue with most things. Like the whole like the fandom ruined it. That's always existed. Like it didn't start with Undertale by any means. Hearing hearing
If it would
Gen
be
Xers
okay. Oh,
reference
sorry.
hearing Gen Xers reference Star Wars and the Princess Bride and fucking I don't know. I can't think of a third example. It ruins these things for me. Yes, I can't undo it. It's not a bad movie. I don't
Also,
want it.
like
I don't want people to think that I think it's a bad movie. It's a below average movie, but it's not garbage by any means. Like I sat through it. I would have stopped watching it if it was that bad.
Mhm. There's a lot of the thing that people think about it is because they remember it from when they were a kid, or their dad showing it. Like, my dad showed me this movie when I was like 10 years old because he thought it was hilarious, and a lot of foundational stuff for storytelling happens. Like, there's basically talk no jutsu in the like Renaissance fencing part where they're literally just having a conversation while hitting each other with swords,
I have a note
and
about
also like
that.
hiding the power levels. What?
I have a
You
note
have a
about
note about
that.
the talk no jutsu?
Yes. Let me
Okay.
find it.
Well, what was your note?
Let me hold on. Let me find. I have no idea how I feel about the sword play. Half the times it looks amazing, and half the times it looks like they aren't really fighting and more just banging swords together. I couldn't tell if that was supposed to be a joke or if that was just bad choreography. Is the issue. That's another issue. Is I can't tell when they're trying to make jokes sometimes. Like, was that a joke or was that just bad choreography? And then I said, I think more than anything, I appreciate that it's not cutting every half a second like modern movies, and you can get like a full shot of the fights. And the whole talking while fighting thing probably reads better in the script. It's too slow in the movie. Like, it seemed to me like they were trying to make it so the characters were like clever and hyper competent, but instead it just looks like people were having a conversation while like swinging styrofoam swords at each other's swords and not at each other.
Killing each other like civilized people.
But that didn't seem like what they were doing. It seemed like they were wiggling their hands around and having a conversation when it felt like they were trying to make it so that they were like hyper competent badasses who can like stay calm in a situation like this.
To be fair, they were using their non-dominant hand for like half of the fight.
The second
Oh
half
yeah.
looked worse than the first half. The first half was whenever it looked like better swordplay, to be honest.
That might, you know what? Okay, I agree with you. But yeah, anyway, that reminded me the talk no jutsu, the fact that they were hiding their power levels by like using the non-dominant hand. It was like that's very foundational for jokes moving forward.
I found that interesting. It definitely, as weird as it sounded, I got a lot of anime vibes from the fights in this. As retarded as that sounds, it
No,
definitely.
that's accurate.
Okay.
That is accurate.
Okay.
That is accurate and on purpose. This movie was directed by a particular Jewish person who was very into anime.
Oh, that kind of explains when like while fighting, no, like they never stop yapping.
Mm-hmm. The Japanese culture invests all the media from way back when. Anyway, I loved Andre the Giant in this movie, just being himself.
So
I haven't seen like much Andre the Giant media. Does he actually just talk like that?
Yes, that is.
Oh, that's
just
his real voice. Yeah. I don't know like what his character was as a wrestler. This is actually the first thing I've seen him in, like genuinely. I've seen clips of him as a wrestler, but I haven't seen like in any like full thing. I enjoyed
Andre was
how
playing himself in this movie.
I enjoyed how weirdly honorable Andre and the Spanish guy. I don't remember the names. He says his name
Inigo
over and
Montoya.
over again. Yeah.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Yes, those two characters.
The
I was
big-
surprised, despite them being, I think, mercenaries in the beginning. I was surprised at how honorable they both were. And I found it. So this is the anime thing I was talking about, right? Andre the Giant. My understanding is that the characters he plays are generally like idiots, like big dumb brutes, right? At least that's what his wrestling persona was, I think. And his character in this was like not stupid at all. He was like a really thoughtful guy. Like he talked about like fighting on an equal level and understanding that he has dominance in a situation like that, but still he treated it as like a very honorable thing. I don't know, it's the best word I can use for it. Uh, I don't know, man. I found that very interesting. There definitely was like philosophizing in those beginning fights.
I think Andre the Giant actually discussed with the director about his character. Like I think in the script he was a little bit dumber, and that he was like, but no, he didn't like playing dumb characters. He wanted to be a smart guy because he was like a genuine, reasonably intelligent man himself in real life.
Yeah, he just talked weird.
He just had no. I mean, he had a speech impediment because his whole life he was dosed up on growth hormones. Like it wasn't,
Shit, he was chemically made. I thought he was just born with the disorder.
Yeah, I thought
both.
This was
It's literally both. So he was born with gigantism, which was made worse because working early, a lot of his like the people he was pressured into taking growth hormones.
God damn.
To work as like a young teenager as well. It was a whole thing.
I also mentioned the bald dude he's the only person in the whole movie that sounds American for some reason. They have the Miracle Man later on sounds Jewish. And the bald
Yeah,
guy
He
he
does.
is.
sounds American.
That's Billy Crystal. That's Mike Wazowski.
I didn't know his name. He's not Mike Wazowski. Is he Mike Wazowski?
Yeah,
No.
it's Mike Wazowski.
Same voice actor. Yep.
Yeah, that was
Really?
him. It's Billy Crystal.
I know
recognize
he's
him a
the
mile
fucking
away.
he's the boss from The Incredibles and he's the principal from a Goofy movie. I don't think he's Mike Wazowski.
No, the Miracle Man. The Miracle Man is Mike Wazowski.
Oh, the Miracle Man. No. I was talking about the Sicilian guy.
Oh, sorry,
Is it-
no. Oh, you were talking about Vizzini. All right.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't
Vizzini,
remember
yeah,
the
the-
names, man.
the
I'm bad with
Gonzalez
names.
professor.
That's okay. I will say
Yeah,
them.
those
I know-
two. Those two. They're like. Those two have their accents that don't fit in with the rest of the movie when everyone else does. Like even Andre the Giant's character, I think they said he was from Greenland, which I don't know where Andre the Giant is actually from, but he definitely has some kind of accent. And not knowing what Greenlanders sound like, I believed it.
What did you think about the Battle of Wits between Vizzini and the Man in
And
Black?
That's like the only part of the film I didn't like. It was like so like unfunny for me.
I liked it. I didn't laugh at all, but it was an example of something where like I thought it was witty writing, even if it wasn't like haha writing. Specifically because it hits on that issue where if you're dealing with someone of a certain degree of intelligence, which he wasn't actually that smart, he was full of himself. But if you are dealing with someone of a certain level of intelligence, there becomes a point where reverse psychology is in such effect that you can no longer like trying to predict your opponent. If they predict your prediction, at some point there's no way to know. At some point it just becomes random.
I'm not sure if this was a purposeful reference, but the thing is, it's like the whole being a famous bounty hunter. Sicily is known for having famous spy masters, aka spy masters who sucked. Because we know them. Because they were found out.
Yeah, I suppose the best spies, nobody knows who they are.
Yeah, just like the best bounty hunters. That's why Han Solo is a shitty bounty hunter.
He's a shitty bounty hunter because he
a
never
shitty
collects
smuggler.
a bounty.
Shitty smuggler, sorry. Shitty smuggler is what I meant, sorry.
I think he's both. I mean, he's just a general scumbag. I felt called out with that character though, because I don't know. I did.
Sicilian.
I am. At first, I didn't know that. I said that I felt called out. I wrote that down before I found out that he was Sicilian. I just generally felt like this is how people think I am. Like when I think I'm smart, this is what I seem like. And then when he said Sicilian, I was like, damn.
They really did just call you out. Also, this whole thing about I will shoot myself with bullets to build immunity to bullets thing is technically a real thing.
I don't remember him talking about shooting himself with a bullet.
No, but like the iocane powder, where
the poison, yeah.
Slowly poison yourself until you're immune. It's barely a thing. It can happen technically, but only in like specifically to biologically complex poisons. So like venoms and like poison ivy and things like that.
That was another example.
Animal venoms and plant toxins.
That was another example of what I would call like the sort of anime world of this story. That is the best like comparison I can give, right? With like the poison being scentless and odorless and tasteless and stuff, and then the prince being able to smell it and identify it. That's like another example of that. Like this weird hyper competence that I can only compare to anime.
I think it was because he was like, okay, white powder, it smells like nothing. I guess iocane, because that's the only thing it could be.
Okay, to me, I read that as he smells the odorless powder somehow, which also I thought might have been a joke, as like that might have been the joke as well. It might have been.
That one might have gone over my head. That one might have been a joke, and I just didn't get it. Because,
but I couldn't tell if that was a joke or if that was just him being hyper competent again.
Did you find out immediately that it was the same guy, or were you like me as a child and were actually surprised by the reveal?
Oh no, I immediately knew it was the same guy, and I was confused why Buttercup wasn't like, hey, you're that
Yeah.
guy.
Superman syndrome. Hide your cheekbones.
I thought this
Superman
movie was going to be
syndrome.
structured a lot different, and I was surprised when he came back immediately. I thought they were going to keep the fact that he was alive like secret until like the third act or something. But just the moment you see him, you know he's alive. Like I recognized him immediately. Yeah. I thought that he was not going to show up until the third act. Hmm. Also, I think in my head, that was funny. I think my brain combined The Princess Bride and Princess Diaries into one movie. So yeah, when I was walking into this, I haven't either, but I walked into this movie thinking that the Queen from Shrek was gonna be in it, and I was confused when she wasn't.
Yeah, I was like thinking the whole time. Yeah, I was thinking the whole time. It's like, wait, why is it like in a medieval setting? Isn't like the princess? And like, I was confused with the Princess Diaries.
Oh my god, you both did. Okay, so I mean, I guess.
Am I crazy, or does this film kind of give Shreky vibes?
Well, fucking duh, it gives Shrek vibes.
It is a parody of movies of its time.
It's a medieval fantasy story. I mean, of course, guy who's only ever watched Shrek watches a second movie. It's giving Shrek vibes.
It is a parody of medieval low fantasy movies, specifically schlock movies and schlock books.
That's another thing. The dialogue. The dialogue was really stilted in a way where it felt to me like these were lines taken straight from a book. And I realized the granddad is reading a book. However, the dialogue was still kind of stilted, mainly towards the beginning more so than anything.
I went on a rant in my notes right after the Vizzini challenge.
Go ahead.
It's like, the Dread Prior Robert, dun dun dun. And it was like, she was like, oh, he had eyes of perfect blue crystal. And it's like, bitch, you seeing him right now, looking directly into his eyes. And you are literally going off about how beautiful his blue eyes was while staring at his eyes. Bitch, you are blind.
So I also have a pretty big note for that scene, but it's a completely different note, which is just that
I died that day.
It was about how dramatic it was, actually, because again, to me, the vibes with this movie like feel like it shouldn't be a comedy. That scene hit me really hard because he was like mad at her, but in such a way where he wasn't mad at her as Wesley. He was mad at her as the fucking pirate. But you could feel that he was mad at her as Wesley because, like, yeah, bitch, you fucking moved on. Like, kill yourself. He deserves better. I watched the whole movie and I still think he deserved better.
Really? Because when he was gonna slap her with the back of his hand, I felt like a little just completely normalized threat of abuse, just a little weird.
I didn't see it as abuse. I saw that as angry. like he was mad because he was the guy who. What? Have you ever experienced love so deep that you would come back from death for someone? And can you imagine that person just moving on with their life?
Especially because it's fucking Humperdinck.
It's not. Yeah.
Your last name is gonna be Humperdinck, bitch.
I thought that was his first name. I thought he was. I don't think they gave a second name. Prince Humperdinck. Yeah, that's it. I think.
Prince Humperdinck. I mean, I do call princes by their first or last name. I don't know.
Prince Charles.
I may be an idiot, but like, it took me a while to like realize like why he suddenly realized that was Wesley after like him falling through like the cliff.
What if his first name is Prince? He's Prince Humperdinck.
Like Mario.
Buttercup Humperdinck.
I once knew a guy whose name was Vincent Vinson.
Vincent Vinson.
Yeah.
Vincent, son of Vincent.
He was the son of a man named Vincent.
Yeah.
I don't even think his dad's last name was Vincent. I think his last name was Vincent because he was the son of Vincent. It's not related to the movie, but we just sort of got here.
Yeah. Anyway, after Vizzini, then we get to the fire swamp. Wesley is a nut job. Quite
Yes.
lovely trees. Just like, dude got set on fire and almost drowned in quicksand.
But he
Like,
wasn't
I
dead.
expect him
Like,
to
what do
kind
you
of be
expect? You
nutty,
expect
so
him
he
to
got, like,
stand there
shanghaied.
and do you expect him to stand there and cry and trauma dump like a fucking Steven Universe character? We
No,
made it out alive.
no, I
Let's
expect
keep
him
going.
to take the threat. I'd expect him to. Like, she was looking at him like he was crazy because he is. I expected him to take it seriously.
See, I take that as a
But,
sign of badassery when a character can go through an insane situation, come out alive, and then just sort of act like nothing happened.
There must always be a Dread Pirate Roberts.
That was an interesting through line. It felt to me, the Dread Pirate Roberts felt to me like a sort of like, okay, it's a weird example, but in Spy Kids, their Uncle Machete?
Mm-hmm.
And you know how he's sort of
Danny
implied,
Trejo?
and you know how he's sort of implied in those movies to be like the main character of his own separate series, and then he actually got his own movie at some point. The Dread Pirate Roberts to me felt like the main antagonist of a different book or a different series that crossed over into this one through like reference, if that makes any sense. Like the Tom Sawyer
Also,
to Huckleberry Finn, or other way around. You get my point.
Also might be a reference to a real pirate or a previous fiction of a pirate. Unclear at this point. I'd have to Google it.
Okay, because that name does sound familiar.
Also, he sees the rats and just fucking lies about them. I guess like he doesn't want her to panic.
I assumed she saw the rats. Like, it was really weird. You just stared at like the rats for like a solid like 10 seconds, and
And
they
he
just
was
move
like,
on.
ROUSs? I don't think they exist. Instantly attacked by the dude in the suit because the ROUS of this movie is like a short person in a suit.
No, I like that. I like
That was
that.
really good
I have a
timing.
note. I have a note.
Yeah.
I have a note.
Practical effects, they're good.
Yes, let me read this.
Yeah.
I am very happy with the practical effects here. This looks better than any CGI I've seen in my life just because the object is actually in the scene. The texture and material quality matters more than the motion accuracy. And the way that light affects actual materials is still not something that CGI can properly simulate. It makes things too dark and too saturated.
The eel was also a really good like practical effect. I really like that.
Anyway, after Fire Swamp, Six Finger Man appears. Immediate betrayal. Throw him in the pit of despair.
I actually forgot I'm kind of dumb. All right, I didn't. So a character changed clothes, and I didn't realize that it was the same character. The prince, right? When he's tracking Wesley down, he wears purple, but then in the rest of the movie, he wears red. So I thought those were different characters, and so.
Oh, yeah,
I thought
Prince Humperdinck and Prince Dinkerhump, the twins.
Fuck off. I didn't realize. So I thought the prince was actually a really good person for a second. Whenever he called off the wedding immediately and said that he was going to send a note out, and then offered, hey, listen, if this doesn't work out, I'm still here. Don't kill yourself. I was like, holy shit, this is like an interesting story because, like, the villain is still, like, a good person. And then he mentioned how he was in the pit of despair, and I was like, oh, wait, that's the same guy. I'm stupid.
Yeah.
I thought it was a more interesting story.
Scumbag.
I thought it was
He's
a more interesting
scumbag
story.
liar. Well, I mean, like, he's like the fact that he says I will send this out, and then of course he doesn't. He's just like he's a slimy liar, like real like.
He's
sus. Is not. He's what?
He's sus.
I think that's like an Among Us reference for you youngsters out there.
Don't, not with Naga in here. All right, he is triggered by it. Don't.
He made the reference. He made the reference.
But you gotta like, don't. Like he will actually go ballistic. Anyway, Also, I love just how fake the finger looks in the six-fingered man's hand. It's like someone stuffed a hot dog into a glove. It straight up is.
I think it looked fine. I couldn't tell which finger was fake, to be honest. I couldn't tell if it was his
It was
pinky
the
or
second
his
ring finger.
this second ring finger. So his pinky is his real pinky,
Yes.
and his pointer finger is his. Okay. That's I was looking at his pointer finger and his pinky, and I figured one of them would be the fake one.
Nah, it was the two ring fingers. One of them was way fatter than the other one.
Okay. I didn't notice that to be honest.
That's fine. You're not supposed to, but you know, I've seen this movie enough times that I noticed it. Also, I love the Gizmodo guy. Yeah, of course, just a beautiful voice. Nobody withstands the machine. You know, like just very good.
I really like how like at the beginning he was like doing like an Igor-esque voice and he just like starts talking normally.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
the
just
second
coughs-
joke that I
coughs it out,
genuinely
man.
found funny. Because I wasn't expecting that. Because
What did you think about the dream? Oh, yeah, sorry.
that joke's been done a lot of times before, but it's usually done in such a way that the setup is really obvious. And the design and function of that character was such that I did expect that to just be what he sounded like. So the joke there worked because I wasn't expecting it.
Yeah. What did you think about the dream sequence?
Uh,
Boo! Boo!
when I first
The
saw
hag,
it,
like, fucking like
Yeah.
heckling
The
her.
queen of refuse, bow to her. The queen of slime, the queen of filth, bow.
so you're doing this thing. You're doing the thing that all the annoying Gen Xers do, where you're just repeating something that was said somewhere else, and you think that's gonna like whoa, but it's just
in
kind of
my
annoying.
notes.
It's
He
repeating
he
quotes
likes
over
this,
and
like,
over
his
again
voice is,
isn't
like,
th-
probably up to
referencing
It was
something.
melodramatic. I like it.
Referencing something does not the transitive property doesn't exist. Saying something that was said in something else isn't going to make me feel the same positive emotions I felt for it the first time. I enjoyed that
He's
scene,
black, he likes the film.
but you repeating it isn't the same thing as me seeing it. It's just
Okay, fine. I'll shut the fuck up. All right.
I think it might be compulsive. It might be a compulsive thing because when I was
I'm
watching,
reading my notes. It's in my notes.
your
It's a quote
notes.
from my notes.
Your note
okay?
says repeat the
My
entire
notes were
quote.
My note
There's
says
much-
boo, 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 boo. Queen of refuse, bow, queen of slime, queen filth. Yes.
So
It
the
says
way
it.
that you just
It's in
said
the
that
notes.
was way funnier and way more interesting because you just put it in your own tone and your own words, and you weren't robotically repeating a scene.
when I was watching.
Yes, you're
Back to
very
the
smart.
Future-
Shut up.
Luke,
Alright.
Luke, I didn't kill your father. I am your father. No, this can't be. It's impossible.
Come on.
Look inside your heart. You know it to be true.
Okay. You wake
Get
up
that?
from the nightmare.
Did you get that epic
Still 10
reference?
days before weddings, the false end or whatever.
Wait, that was 10 days before the wedding.
It was no, I mean it like she wakes up from the nightmare because it was supposed to be immediately King dies, they get married, but that was just a nightmare. They wake up, then okay, it's 10 days till the wedding. That's what they say.
These are not the
Okay.
droids you were looking for.
Anyway, she
Okay.
immediately threatens suicide to Humperdinck over here, and then it's the reveal that Humperdinck hired Vizzini. Fairly obvious, I guess.
I didn't get
Wait.
that. I didn't get why he was tracking them down if he hired
catch
them.
that.
Because
Catch that.
They directly said that Humperdinck hired Vizzini in order to get war from Gilder.
I know,
He
but what I'm
wants to go
saying
to war
is
with Gilder.
why didn't he wait to track them down until he got word from them that she was actually dead, so that they could properly like do the false flag?
Because I think thing is he has to be married to her to become king. So what he was supposed to rescue, he was supposed to like try to rescue her, or like it was like a backup plan. I can't remember now because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't line up because it's like they were gonna leave her body at the end of Gilder to start war.
So that scene that you mentioned earlier that I just sort of went off on a separate tangent for. I do have thoughts on it. I enjoyed it.
Okay.
I didn't think it was gonna be a dream sequence though. What I thought, because the son or the grandson had just complained, so I figured that character was the granddad adding a fake bit to the story to make his grandson happy and then be like, okay, do you like that now? Is this the kind of story you want to see? That's what I thought that was at first.
Ah,
You guys get he gets like this subtle kind of like foreshadowing when the grandson said like it'd be cool if there were pirates at
I,
like the
for,
beginning.
I forgot about that, to be
And then
honest.
also,
it wasn't exactly that. It was something about pirates at the
And
beginning, but
technically, we don't ever see any pirates, right? There's just reference to them as like a sort of through line.
we have, yeah, we never see the ship.
I mean,
The,
the Man in Black he's got the pirate boots and the cut, he's got the boots, he's got the look.
I feel like
His name
they
is
could have
Wesley.
like gotten more pirate iconography. He kind of just looks like Zorro.
I think it was fine because, like I said, the
He
pirates are
is a
more
bit
of
of a
a
Zorro type,
background
but
sort of like thing that was referenced, and I sort of like whenever things are referenced but never shown. Like Eddie's
Yeah.
brother
Also,
in Ed,
like
Ed and Eddie. It's a weird example. That's a random ass example.
Also,
the big picture movie.
also, I think Zorro actually does not predate this. Like Zorro comes after this, so Man in
Zorro
Black comes first.
definitely predates this. Zorro is like an old character. They have like a black and white Zorro movie.
Okay,
I,
because the
so that
Legend
was
of Zorro with Antonio Banderas that has this direct exact style was in 2005, so it was like a full 10 years earlier.
I
No,
was kind of
the
thinking like
character's
like
existed for a while. He's like a Sherlock Holmes sort of character where he just gets reused a lot.
yeah, I got like a lot of Zorro voice because like he's a pirate. Why the fuck is he using like a rapier? Like pirates use cutlasses.
Well, he wasn't going to use the consent year. Was he?
Come on.
No one's ever made that joke before.
What the fuck are you talking about right now? What?
I
There's a
have never
sword
heard
called
that.
a rapier, and I
Oh
made a
fuck you!
joke about a consent year.
Shut the up. All right. Shut the up. All right, fuck. We're moving on. Pit of Despair, white man named Tyrone, six fingered man, bone hurting juice machine.
Here's the issue, I think, with the weird names and character designs and stuff is that that's just how I name things. I would make a white man with six fingers named Tyrone and then just like not even think about it. The movie works on my own logic is the thing. I think that might be a big issue why I didn't notice a lot of the weird shit is because it's the exact brand of weird shit that I do.
Yeah.
Also, can I talk about how like the man had a magic fist, like a magic punch that knocked people out instantly?
I figured
Again, the
that happened a
giant
couple of
guy.
times.
No, like the Antonio Banderas
Oh,
fill
that
in.
guy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Like
the main character that I can't remember his name because Wesley, right? Them,
Wesley.
him. He just punches Inigo Montoya in the back of the head, instantly lights out. And then he chokes out.
The six fingered man does that with the back of his sword at one point, and then Andre the Giant's character does it, but I think he has a little bit more of an excuse. It happens a couple of times. People get knocked out with a single pretty light looking blow.
Yeah, very limply. I would like to say, like the blow to the head. It doesn't even look like it connected.
It doesn't.
It just goes limp.
And see, that's an example of where this movie is so old at this point that I can't tell if a lot of what look like flaws in the production design are flaws in the production design or if they're supposed to be jokes about the film being low quality. I feel like maybe if I was there when it came out, that would have worked because I would have been able to tell, but I just kind of can't.
It's definitely a victim of the Seinfeld effect, where it's like like a lot of things have like definitely like built upon its like foundation. So like of course like when we go back to it, it's gonna it's gonna be like ass.
I think the difference between this and Seinfeld is that this actually has funny moments.
I've never seen Seinfeld, and I frankly never will.
Fuck Seinfeld.
It's not a hot take at this point, man.
Also, I would like to say that Wesley in this movie also is the same guy who plays Robin Hood in Robin Hood Men in Tights.
But does he play Robin Hood in Shrek 2001?
I think he was too old at that point, maybe.
Oh, hey,
No.
wait.
No,
We didn't
actually,
mention this.
hell no.
We didn't mention this in the Shrek podcast. So, Duloc is France, right? We kind of established there's a lot of French like design qualities, and then Robin Hood in that has a French accent. They're the only characters that have non-American accents besides Shrek.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. I just wanted to mention that because we didn't mention that. We mentioned that in the watch through, but I don't think we mentioned that in the podcast.
Okay, cool. I could have swore you were gonna go off in like a tirade about how actually, the you know, actually Robin Hood is in the pocket of Duloc, and Duloc hired him to do that, and you know, whatever.
I mean,
Shrek-
if you
Shrek
would
mentions
like to,
Facebook
I
plus
can
the
make a
blue F.
video about that all its own.
Fair enough. Anyway, magic ass life suction machine, suction cups? Question mark? Question mark? Question mark? Written in my
On
notes.
his nipples, by the way.
In the nipples, on the ears. I'm sure he had it had it on his dick too, as far as I'm concerned. All right.
I had a note
Might
about
go
torture
to
machine as
five
well.
one day. Bone hurting juice.
When he got a
Van
when he
Torture
got a
was
year
fucking
of
kinky as hell.
when he got a year of his life sucked away, I was like, damn, bro, me too. Because I've been living where I'm living right now for a year, and it feels like I've done nothing for a year straight. Relatable.
You're
I
secretly
love-
in a government facility, and they are draining you right now.
I mean just like I've wasted my life. Like I've literally wasted it. Like
I
more
am
and
a
more I've
hallucination
noticed.
trying to keep you insane.
No,
Sorry.
shut up. That's not what I mean.
Sorry.
I'm trying to have like an actual moment of like talking about life and shit. More and
I'm
more
sorry.
people of our generation are looking at things that are meant to be like pretty lofty or pretty like meaningful thought experiments or horrific tales and just sort of being like, damn, me too. Like people looking at the myth of Sisyphus and being like, me too, bro. Or like the trolley problem being turned into like a joke. You know, and I think the life-sucking machine, me seeing a man writhing in pain while he literally loses time from his lifespan and being like, me too, bro. That's a sign of some issues in the world. It should be horrifying, but it was literally just relatable.
I think it's sort of a coping mechanism. Instead of like giving into the darkness, we sort of like that's the way we deal with it. We poke fun at the thing that's like sort of like staring us straight in the face.
Okay, Jordan Peterson. The darkness. The darkness.
If Jordan Peterson wasn't a right wing shill who was also stupid, he might have done some good for somebody.
Dude is working off
Yeah.
of Carl Jung. He's working off of a fucking retard hack. The archetype,
like I
the
said.
cultural archetypes. Whatever, dude.
Yeah, that's part of the stupid. Like, you know, telling people to clean their room, you know, actually, like, basic fucking information, sure, but some people need to hear it.
The first
I'd
line
like
in like
Jordan
any
Peterson more
self-help
if he
book.
didn't keep appearing in fucking PragerU videos.
I'd like him more if he wasn't a shithead. Anyway, yeah, the Thieves' Forest, straight up Robin Hood reference. The cops getting in and, you know, beating everybody up. The Goon Squad. I am the Goon Squad.
It's the Brute Squad, excuse me. The Goon Squad is me and my boys on Sunday night during the circle jerk hour, alright.
Alright. Anyway, the cops getting mercs to empty the place out for no other reason as a cover for when Humperdinck murders Buttercup. What a fucking bastard.
Says a lot about our society, doesn't it?
Anyway, caught in the lie. Wesley will come for me. And then, you know,
He did.
he appears. And Humperdinck's a fucking coward and just runs.
Yeah,
I wrote
really
like this
I
is
really
a
like of how he's just stalling for time.
it's a very simple story, but I enjoyed it. Like I said, on the base level, it's a nice story. It's it's definitely the kind of thing I could read to a kid. With the sort of
Yeah.
there are moments of peril, but everything ends up more or less good in the end.
It's supposed to be a fun little romp with a good revenge story that isn't subverted and some jokes and some heart.
If
That's all it's ever meant to be.
If I were to write a story like this, I probably would have not wrote Andre the Giant's character into the story at all, which would have been a mistake, just given how he turns out. And I probably wouldn't have brought the main character back, and I would have just sort of had Montego or whatever his name is, like, save Buttercup from her shitty marriage, but then just kind of move on with his life and sort of leave her in this sort of like confused state of like, what am I doing now? That's probably what I would have ended up doing if I was writing this.
Can I ask? This is completely unrelated. Why did you make me buff in the image that's going to be for this video?
Because you're the Andre the Giant character.
Oh, okay.
And I'm the Spaniard, and Chemo is the main character.
I thought you said you were Vizzini.
I didn't. I felt called out. I don't want to be the character that makes me feel called out as a stupid piece of shit.
Fair enough.
I'm not secure enough to be my own parody.
Understood. What did you think of Miracle Max?
I think he was a Jewish caricature.
He was funny until like it kind of dragged like at the end, where like the joke was kind of like, yeah, he like talks a lot and stuff, but I feel like the joke kind of just ended.
I'm surprised.
He seems kind of a likable guy.
Given how much people, Miracle Max is the miracle worker that they go to, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Given how much people.
He's the miracle He's the Miracle Max who gets the miracle pill.
Given
necromancy. Given
how much people just quote scenes from this movie word for fucking word, I'm amazed that I had never heard a single line from this character before. And I think that's why I enjoyed that scene, and that maybe that scene is how the rest of the movie felt to everyone else watching it the first time. And maybe, like, because I enjoyed that scene, and I'm thinking maybe I ruined the magic for myself, man. Maybe I'm too fucking cynical.
I mean, you still enjoyed the movie. I mean,
I didn't overall enjoy it. It had good moments.
Damn. All right.
I kept looking at a woman that reminded me of my two great loves the entire time.
I was right.
It fucks with you, man. Listen, I'll give my number rating.
Colored your view of the film.
I'm gonna give my number rating. All right. If I was a different person, this would be a 5 out of 10 movie. But that alone brings it down to like a 3.
God. Okay, I had to Google. Okay, before we end, I want to talk. I had to Google what a Holocaust cloak was.
What?
You could assume from the name, couldn't you?
Well, it's supposed to be a fireproof cloak. That's all it is. That's all it is.
I didn't bother Googling it. I figured it was a joke about the actual Holocaust. It just kind of went over my head.
No, it is an old term for a fireproof cloak because it has like stuff on it that causes it to burn slowly. So that's what it was. Holocaust means like firestorm. That's like what it is.
I mean the word existed before like the big one.
Yeah.
The big one.
Is it a German word or is it a Jewish word?
Magic is real in this movie, but it's very low level.
I think the only magic we see is the miracle pill and the life-sucking machine, right?
Yeah, the only magic that exists is the ones that are convenient to the plot.
That's how it is for all stories, isn't it?
I mean, not all stories you use magic as a convenience tool, but...
Every story that has magic, the magic only exists insofar as it facilitates the plot.
That is not true.
Name a story where that's not the case.
The Way of Kings.
Never heard of it. Name something I know.
Well, I mean, clearly you don't know anything because you've only seen soft magic systems. If your belief is that
you don't know nothing, man. Avatar: The Last Airbender is not a soft magic system. It's like a medium magic system, and it exists purely it exists for the convenience of having like 4 distinct elements and like very divided cultures that you can point at the one that makes fire and go, that's the bad guys.
Is a base point a convenience? Like, it just is a basic, like, base level information world building. That's convenience to you?
Yeah. I mean, the fact
I
that
feel like
like quantum physics, right? It kind of doesn't matter to most people's day-to-day lives, right? Like it just doesn't. It's like we're like poking at the edges of like the fucking RAM saving of the code of the universe, right? It doesn't exist as a convenience to like it doesn't affect our lives in any way. You know what I mean? It's a technicality that's just sort of it's terminal world builder disease basically. What I'm saying is that most good stories don't have fucking terminal world builder disease. I don't know. I could make a more coherent point if it wasn't 10 a.m. and I didn't wake up yesterday. Just so everyone knows,
I
just so everyone knows, I'm still up. I woke up at like 2 p.m. yesterday. It's 10 a.m. now today because these guys have weird fucking time. One of them is Filipino and one of them is an Arizonan, and I don't know which is worse to be quite frank. Um, the time, the time, the time, the time.
also shit. No, don't tell them where I live. Fuck you.
They know the state.
This is like a reasonably small state. People could like anyway. Never mind.
I'm cool. I'm cool with Naga saying I'm from the Philippines since it was so heavily discussed the last episode.
I'm sorry, I didn't realize that was such an issue. I mean, it's not like I pointed out your exact first and last name and work address.
People who I'm just saying the state has an identity theft problem. It would be really easy for someone. I mean, it wouldn't be easy, but somebody based on just my voice and the fact I live in Arizona to like figure out how to find me because they could like go to like high school like.
Are there three
like,
people in Arizona? Like, where are they getting your voice from?
Well, I mean, we have like it's like a voice recording thing. There's like anyway, whatever. Doesn't matter. Not enough people watch this anyway that it's going to be a problem. If like 10 million people were watching this, there would maybe be 5 people who would do it. But
Okay, Kevin Schwartz.
anyway, now that I said that, the one person who's watching this that isn't a part of a personal friend group of yours is going to do it. Anyway,
So you can tell by how he reacted to me saying the name Kevin Schwartz. That's probably not his real name. But if it was his real name, he would react in such a way to make it seem like it wasn't his real name.
pissed off that
because
you told them my real first and last name, Kevin Schwartz.
if he, because that's the thing, right? Regardless of what it was, you know I'm not editing this, so your reaction has to be such that even if that was your real name, you have to act like it's not and play it off. See, this is what was going on in that scene with the cups again, right? Where the reverse psychology becomes such that it's random. There's no way to know anymore. At this point, there is no way to know.
I switched the cups. It doesn't matter. I'm just getting a laugh. Anyway, there's a shortage of perfect breasts. Sorry, I'm quoting the movie again. Sorry, it's the movie disease.
There is another.
Like a film, you like quoting it.
If you strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Gently. All right.
Do it.
Good heavens! Are you still trying to win? Inigo fight with Six-Fingered Man Tyrone.
Good fight.
What'd you think of it?
When he ran away, I thought it was both
fight,
funny but also kind of intense. That
Objectively
scene,
correct.
that scene, I feel like is what the rest of the movie was trying to be, but failed to. Like I said, it's got good moments. It's got like these little, it's got these little silver linings where it's like, why couldn't that be the whole thing?
If you had disliked specifically this part, I would be upset because this is it's just really good.
It was probably one of the best scenes in the movie because not only was the tone the right mix that I felt like they were trying to go with, but it also focused on the most interesting character in the story.
Also, both characters who repeat the same thing over and over again said their spiel 6 times exactly.
Who was the other character that said the same thing over and over
Vizzini
again?
said inconceivable 6 times, and Inigo said, "My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die." Exactly 6 times.
It felt like he
Are
said
they
it a lot
Satanists?
more than 6.
Well, he said it the whole thing.
It's good thing Andre the Giant didn't say something 6 times, or else they would have summoned Satan.
Oh, 666.
If there might be a third thing in this movie that is said exactly 6 times.
Probably As You Wish, or whatever the dude was saying in the beginning.
Oh God, I didn't even think to count As You Wish.
I don't know if that's exactly what he said, but he basically says yes, master.
It was As You Wish. He said it like as he felt.
God, if he says it, if he actually says As You Wish 6 times, I'm
666 Secret
okay,
Devil.
666. Ha ha ha.
Subliminal messaging.
Subliminal messaging. I woke my father back, you son of a bitch. All right.
Yeah, that was a really good. Yeah, that was a really good fucking one line.
Yeah, he gave him mirrored scars to his own face. Because those were the scars that the Six Finger Man gave him. It was like a whole thing. It was a really good payoff to a revenge story. That was just a revenge story. It didn't try to moralize about how revenge makes you just as bad as the person who wronged you. Yada yada yada.
What are your feelings?
Good revenge story.
What are your feelings on the Cartoon Network show Steven Universe?
Never heard of it. All right. Anyway, you know, the only hint of the regret is I did my revenge. I don't know what to do with my life anymore. And so he's just like, hey, here's another loose end we could tie off. You want to be Dread Pirate Roberts? It was good. It was a nice, neat little end.
Yeah, everything was tied up everything was tied up super neatly. That's something I appreciate.
I feel like
also,
Andre the Giant's
riding
character
off
could
into
have
the
used...
sunset ending.
I feel like Andre the Giant's character could have used his own arc. He was just sort of a sidekick the whole time.
Yeah, he was absolutely critical in points. They wouldn't have been able to beat all of those people.
Yeah, he was important to the literal mechanics of the story. He was a sidekick. He didn't have his own arc going on like the other two did.
Yeah.
Which is part of why I said if I was writing this story, I probably wouldn't have wrote his character in it, just because he's not oh, what's up with him? What's his deal, man? What's up with that guy?
Sequel in Greenland. Never kick off. Unironically, there was going to be a sequel to this movie, but they lost the rights to a thing in legal trouble.
I don't think this movie needs a sequel. The sequel would have been bad.
Shot, I feel like that would have been good.
Sorry, what?
Depending on when the sequel was gonna be shot, I feel like that would have been pretty decent. If it's 10 years after the fact, I feel like it would have been ass.
See, I feel the exact opposite. This movie seems like the kind of thing that there only needs to be one of, and a sequel just wouldn't be able to do right.
I mean, it was. I don't know if the sequel was a real thing or a joke they were making because the book, the book in this movie doesn't actually exist, but the book pretending to be a parody / anthology of the fake book is. There's a book that's The Princess Bride, but just the good parts, and that's a real book.
Did it come out after the movie?
No, that's way before the movie, 20 years before the movie. This movie is based off of that book.
Bro, what if we did, you know the Dom on youtube.com/the Dom and his book movie review series Lost in Adaptation? What if we did, what if...
No, I don't know that.
What if we... I don't care. I don't care enough to finish my joke. I'm tired.
I'm sorry. Okay, what do you think of the insults that were slung here? The warthog-faced buffoon, the miserable vomitous mass, all of that. What do you think?
I think...
It was I've heard funnier.
I didn't realize...
The shriek of every child.
I didn't realize they were supposed to be jokes until I heard you repeat them as a reference. I thought it was just... it wasn't bad. It was just...
notably...
Can I finish what I'm saying, please? I know I'm stuttering over my words, but please let me finish them, for the love of fuck.
Sorry, go. Okay, go.
It was another example where I thought it was just witty writing, and I didn't think it was meant to be a haha. I thought it was just this character can think up stuff on the spot, and kind of complex stuff.
Yeah, it was just witty writing. I was saying it because it was notable for having really good shade slinging.
I really like the delivery. if
Yeah.
anything.
Mm-hmm.
Really good like character acting there. I like it.
I don't mean to
Also,
be a dick. I feel
I
like.
was kind of distracted.
Go ahead.
I was kind of distracted the whole film because the main guy kind of looks like fucking Chase from House, like the Australian guy. You guys ever seen House?
I
House.
saw a single episode as a kid.
House MD. You know the fucking like.
Oh,
fucking,
okay.
I know how medical shows.
I'm aware. Sorry, because when someone says house, immediately my brain goes to either Monster House or Full House or like I was just like going through I was just going through shows that had the word house in it.
We
I didn't
gotta
think
watch
House
Monster
empty.
House at some point, by the way, because that would be, I think,
It's
a
a
great
good fucking movie.
for
It's
this
just a good
series.
movie.
Dude. You know that was like fucking written by Dan Harmon and Justin Roiland? It's fucked up.
I'm aware. It's not written by Justin Roiland at all. It's just written by Dan Harmon.
I know Justin Roiland was like involved maybe.
No, they didn't work together until Rick and Morty. That was the first time they worked together, as far as I know. Dan Harmon is
they worked before that on like fucking liquid television.
They didn't. It was just
Cosby.
maybe they did, but no. Okay, no. House of Cosby's was just Justin Roiland. He submitted it to the show that was run by Dan Harmon, but that wasn't a collaborative effort. It was something that he made on his own and then submitted to it.
Oh, was it? Oh, okay.
Dan Harmon.
It would have been a collaboration if they took it and started messing with it.
Dan Harmon is someone I see a lot of myself in, and that concerns me. I relate to him as a person. Like, I see him as a kindred spirit. Yeah, better than Justin Roiland. I get bad man bad. I get it. Like, we don't. I don't need to like. I don't feel like I need to go out of my way to say bad man bad anytime we sort of brush up against the. We weren't talking about him. We're talking about Dan Harmon, and Dan Harmon is he's also a pretty shitty person, by the way. He was an alcoholic and like weirdly creepy with his coworkers, by the way. Like, he's not like an abuser, but he's still kind of a scumbag. But you know what? I'm just talking about myself now. This is not good podcast material.
Anyway, we've reached like the end of the movie, basically. The 4 white horses, the unrealistic, graceful falling standards.
The first season,
from 3 foot high.
The first season of Community was the best. It was just, I don't understand what people that like the rest of Community. It's good, but like people say that after the 4th season it goes downhill. I think after the 4th season it's just the same as the 2nd season and the 3rd season and the 4th and the 5th and so on.
Why are we talking about
are of
Community
equal quality to each other.
This is a podcast.
Go to bed. You're dying.
This is a podcast. We can talk. The topic can drift around, and I don't feel like I'm ever gonna have an excuse to talk about Community anywhere else. And I feel like the first season of Community, the characters felt so much more real. They felt like real people in a cartoon world, and that was cool. But as this show went on, it sort of just felt like they became live action cartoon characters. And the first season I liked because it felt legit. It felt like they weren't just these caricatures, right? Specifically with Britta, where she felt like she genuinely was the kind of person she was claiming to be. She genuinely was this person that gave a shit. And then later on, she became like this fake activist, and it ruined the character, right? And the main character, I want to say his name is Jeff, it's been a while since I've watched this, was like kind of an actual scumbag, and he didn't really have like that secret heart of gold or anything. He was just like that. And then later in the series, they made him a better person. Like, they got rid of the subtlety and the sort of reality that sometimes people really are the way they seem on the surface. And I didn't hate the rest of the show, but I don't think that it went significantly downhill like from the 4th season like everyone says it does. And the reason why those earlier episodes are so much better is because they were all like the first 8 episodes were written by Dan Harmon before the show ever got picked up, and that was just all him. Princess Bride, 3 out of 10.
I have never seen a single episode of Community, and I have no idea where that rant came from.
Because Dan Harmon made Community.
My friend talks about Community a lot.
Okay, I didn't know that. I don't know anything about. I don't give a shit about Dan Harmon. All right.
I personally read
Rick and Morty's barely funny.
Fucking Dan Harmon's writing style kind of rubs me the wrong way because there's a certain sense of like Fuck! I can't say the word.
Faux intellectualism.
You guys help me over here.
I don't think it's faux
Yeah,
intellectualism. I think it's just genuine.
It's the wrong
I
way.
just think it's how he is. I don't even think he's trying to be like smart. I think it's just how he is. Which is part of why I see him as a kindred spirit.
I
It was
like when like Rick's like, dude, like love is a chemical in your brain and like life is worthless.
Rick
What the
isn't
flip?
Rick
Okay.
isn't meant to be necessarily right all the time. He's like a jaded bastard.
Yeah, no. What I think what he meant was intellectual masturbation, where you're like constantly, fucking like jerking yourself off for how smart you are. Thing.
I don't
Yeah,
think that's.
yeah.
I think you misunderstand a lot of his writing, to be honest. Like,
It's not-
more
okay.
so, I'm talking about Community than I am
you
Rick and
trying to
Morty,
extend
because he
the
was a bigger part of
shows.
Community than he was a part of Rick and Morty. Like, creative voice wise.
I generally do not like shows where they sort of like introspect, like they like and that takes like a bunch of the content.
See,
Like,
I
I
don't.
don't like moral oral.
So I never watched that. It seemed kind of dumb. That seemed pretentious. the thing with Dan Harmon's writing is that the things that people are saying are not the important parts. When characters sit down and talk about ideas, that's not what you need to pay attention to. The actual smart shit going on is the shit that just happens that they don't sit down and elaborate on. The stuff that's just sort of accepted. Like with the Beths, right? The twin Beths. And how they just sort of don't give a shit who's the real one. That is interesting. That's something that I think is kind of deep. And they don't stop to really ruminate on that idea.
Something like that.
That's
Like,
where
like
he's
to
actually being
linger on
intelligent.
it with, like,
When Rick
Isn't
is
that
just
after
like, there is no God, Morty. When Rick is just like going off in his rant. But
Yeah, that's post.
that's not meant.
That's post Roiland as a writer.
That's not really. Like, I think the show was fine in the beginning too. I think the show. Listen, I don't think it was Justin Roiland alone that brought the energy, but it's definitely lost some of the wacky energy. I miss the wacky energy. I miss
go watch
whenever.
Solar Opposites. Like a lot of the wacky energy is still in Solar Opposites.
Yeah, it's way more wacky in Solar Opposites, and
Yeah,
frankly, it's fine. It's fine.
I miss
Solar
whenever.
Opposites is okay, which means you'll love it because you'll find something way deeper in it that I won't find or whatever.
That's
Solar
not
Opposites is
necessarily
like the American
true.
Dad too,
There's
for
not
working
necessarily
family guy.
always something good in something that. Like, I don't necessarily always see something good in something you don't. Like, the one thing I know about that show is that they have this background plot about this wall that's like a human terrarium.
The wall, yeah.
Yeah, I
Okay,
can't
that American
stand.
Dad comment implies that
I love
implies that
American
Solar
Dad, by
Opposites
the
is
way.
better. Exactly. What you just said. That Solar Opposites is the American Dad to.
Rick and
Rick and
Morty.
Morty's Family Guy.
Yeah, but that implies Solar Opposites is a better show, and I disagree.
Solar Opposites is the Cleveland
I-
show.
I've never seen the
No,
Cleveland
you
show.
Can't say that.
I've never seen the Cleveland show.
It's
I would
bad.
be interested in watching
It's-
an episode
It's
or two.
it's all
Oh,
of
it's
the.
bad?
It's
Goddamn.
just bad. It's just bad. It's
Okay,
like
never mind then.
I don't even want to. I don't even need to go into specifics. It's just bad.
Cleveland Brown. I don't know.
The wall.
Like,
I don't like whenever shows do this thing where they start out episodic and wacky, and then like some throwaway side plot from one episode gets elaborated on into this huge thing. Adventure Time did this, and it killed the show. It killed my interest in the show. They did it once with Ice
Really?
King,
Okay,
and
I
it was
love
cool.
Adventure Time from
They did it-
start to finish.
They did it once with Ice King and it was cool. But then they just kept doing it for fucking everything. And they contradicted their own lore half the time. They contradicted their own lore almost every time, actually. It makes me so...
I think it's because the only person that knew how to do it good like left the show after after she
Adventure
did it.
Time started good, got kind of bad in the middle, and then got fantastic at the end. That's my opinion.
I agree with the periods you're splitting it up into. I disagree with the intensity. I think it started out good. Season 2 was when it peaked. Season 1 was kind of growing pains, as shows do.
Yeah.
Season 4, after they meet Finn's dad, that's when I think the show should have ended, to be frank. After that, when it started getting into his love life and shit, and then elaborating on random shit like Lemon Hope, that's when I was done. I gave up. That's when the show fucking took a nosedive. And then it got better whenever it sort of became this weird serialized Game of Thrones-esque thing with Princess Bubblegum's uncle. The miniseries, I don't even look at that as the same show. I look at that as like a bunch of miniseries in that universe. I fucking hated what they did with the humans, though. I fucking hated what they did with the humans. I am.
Really?
Yes.
Really? Okay.
Dude, can I just say Finn's mom is really hot?
Of course she is. She's a mother figure in a TV show. Of course you want to fuck her. I disliked what they did with the humans.
She doesn't have Pixar mom syndrome, at least.
I disliked what they did
like,
with the
big ass
humans
yeah.
because it. Well, let me take a sip of something because I'm about to go off.
Because Finn is not the only human anymore.
It's not my issue at all because Finn was never the only human. That's actually my issue.
Okay, before you go on your rant, I want to talk about how
Early on in the series, Princess Bubblegum thought Finn was the only human. He was not. You see other humans throughout the show in the first 2 seasons. You see characters with tan and like beige and like brown skin. And
What are you talking?
they're very rare. The naked dude from Thief City, where his jammies, my jammies, my glasses, and the guy with the giant bow that looks like a bra. He was also a human.
yeah, Marceline Slave.
And Marceline Slave, I don't know. I think he was like gray. He could have been one of the mutants. But there were characters that were humans. Humans were very rare in that world. And there was this implication that there was this giant war and most people are mutants. And that humanity just sort of naturally died out, whether through mutation or just not being able to survive. And I was fine with that. I was fine with accepting that they just sort of died out in the same way that Neanderthals just sort of died out in our world. This idea that Finn is the last human as like some big pillar, and the fact that there's just other untouched humans surviving off in this random place. Honestly, the humans surviving in this random place would have been fine, like vault dwellers or whatever the equivalent is, because that's basically what they are, right? But this idea that Finn was the only human in OO is a retcon that I dislike a lot.
It's because they did that because like they needed this thing where it's like, oh, he's like so lonely. He's like the last human. He needs to find his kind.
He did feel like that with Susan, but they didn't need to like. Being one of like 12 humans is just as lonely as being one of 1 humans. To be real, like there wasn't a community. They were a bunch of scattered weirdos.
Yeah.
Or like Jake's powers. Like they elaborated on Jake's powers for no reason. Like we didn't need that. That's another example of them taking a random thing and just being like, let's what's this about? I was totally fine with accepting that he rolled around in a puddle of mud one day and got powers. That's what they said originally. It was that he just rolled around in a puddle of mud once and then he got powers, and that totally fits the weird world. You know what I mean?
But I mean, they confirmed in that very episode that wasn't it.
We didn't need a real confirmation, though, right? Like,
but in the same episode, they confirmed that wasn't it.
I didn't want to know what it
like
was.
He's saying, like,
my point is that it could.
I like the Jake is an alien. I liked that.
I don't. I think they were doing this thing where instead of like coming up with new weird things in the world, they just sort of elaborated on shit. When kind of the fun of the world was that it was kind of unclear. It's the same issue Star Wars has, where they would reference things, and then later they would come back. The Clone Wars was a throwaway line in the first movie to make the world sound bigger than it really was, and then they ruined the entire franchise by elaborating on what the Clone Wars was.
I will fucking kill you if you shit on the Clone Wars TV show right
Prequels bad.
Clone Wars TV show was.
now. The, really good, the show or the movies?
Prequels bad. The TV show is better than the movies.
In real life and stab you while you sleep. The show is fantastic.
The show,
like you can't.
The show wasn't that great. It was better than the movies, but it was still ruined by the fact that it has to take place in the plot of the movies, and also they kind of fucked up like what the Force was with the weird planet of Force people, and also Metachlorians.
Sorry, did you like Metachlorians then? Okay.
Those were both bad.
Because the like the whole like the okay. I'm right. I have half a mind to literally end this call right now and go play Galactic Contention.
The
Alright?
living force people that were representations of the dark side and the light side kind of go against the whole truth of the force. No, the separation between the light side and the dark side of the force is wrong. The Jedi and the Sith are both fucking
they
idiots.
Have the link of the grandfather, like they have the link of the father in the middle, who keeps the family together, but then the family becomes separated because it's like representational of the split.
There is no split. There is no split though at all. It's all in their head.
The people who practiced it.
It's all in their head.
It was split. It was a completely unnecessary separation that people caused. They ruined the Force for what it was.
No. There isn't a separation though. There isn't a separation. People just think there is, and whenever you solidify it, you make it a real thing. You know what I didn't hate? I didn't hate any of the new
about the Princess Bride, and we're arguing over Star Wars.
I
literally had a conversation with my dad. I literally had a conversation with my dad on the way from work before starting this. That my dad was upset that people on the internet get upset over the Star Wars because it was supposed to be a fun romp and not meant to be this deep.
I didn't hate the new powers that they added in the sequels. I will say I only watched the first Disney movie, but I heard that they added people like talking over long distances and making like projections of themselves and like handing items over long distances, and I think that fits really well because the aesthetics of the Force as a power system, it's really just psychic powers. It's psionics. So all of those fit pretty fine in my opinion. I think the Force healing that they have in the fucking video games is fucking dog shit and stupid. Cause like a whole thing,
straight from the books and comics, all right.
Well, that's still dog shit and stupid. Foundational is the movies. The comics and the books are the expanded universe. It's secondary shit. Having healing means that Anakin's entire fucking journey in the prequels is moot. Especially if it's associated with the light side. If force healing is gonna be a thing, it needs to be associated with the dark side and not the light side. It also shouldn't exist, by the way. I thought it was a light side power.
Okay, it's like the gray area to dark. Like the better you get at force healing, the more you could do the basically force necromancy shit, like Darth Pelagius the Wise. All right, you know the fucking story in the beginning about how a dude using the dark side of the Force was able to prevent all of his closest people from dying. Like he was able to prevent death.
I don't think that was true though. I think Darth
was true. No,
oh, that's fucking retarded, dude. This is what I mean, dude. The more they expand on it, the worse it gets. I like the idea that Palpatine just made that shit up to tell Anakin exactly what he needed to hear. He's like a master of deception.
Well, I mean, he definitely, what's the word? Because the thing is, Palpatine killed Darth Plagueis.
My issue isn't with the literal man existing. My issue is with the exact story that he told being real. Like, force healing shouldn't be real. If it's real,
like in some of the base stuff, like this is like, okay, so it may have started with the movies, but there was like a whole bunch of other stuff, like the original vision of fucking George, whatever the fuck his name is.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he totally came up with the entire franchise. Whenever he made the first movie, he had the entire universe planned out.
Lizard man.
He had the entire universe, the entire franchise was figured out before they even started recording the first scene of the first movie.
I'm saying the opposite. I'm saying that the original vision fucking sucked. All right, Han Solo was a lizard man in the original.
That's not crazy. They have all sorts of crazy aliens in Star Wars. What are you on about, bro?
No, but like that's just the thing that pops out of my head because
that would have been fine.
The original I don't give a shit about what's most like.
You got an issue with Lizard Man?
Because where it started
you fucking
was
bigot.
Shit. It was super schlocky.
You bigot? You got a problem with Lizard Man?
No, it was just because like the whole like design philosophy was weird. Like, and then like it was like he was written in a way that was like contrary to how he acted, and there was like a whole thing. It's just that the lizard part was, it's like just because it was in original vision doesn't make it good. All right, the subsequent stuff, the books, the comics, the stuff is really good. The comics especially are really good, like better than the movies in like every way.
Something being the
I
original
kind of
idea
respect.
doesn't necessarily make it good automatically, but in the case of Star Wars, I find that all of the bad things are part of the expanded universe and the sequels, and all of the good things come from like the first two movies.
The first two movies are subsequent stuff because the original stuff was a comic, and it was shit.
The Star Wars was a comic
I
before it was ever a movie. I was not aware of this.
Yes, it was like a zine. It was like really shitty.
fucking I really respect Japanese media because the problem with most Western stuff is if it's not a movie, nobody will watch it. Thus,
Star
they can't
Wars
do
is an
any.
anime as well.
Yeah, this like if you write a Star Wars books, you can't like progress the story or whatever, because like if somebody didn't read the books and they make a new film continuing the books, people will be like, "What the hell happened?"
Well,
Well,
I don't
Japanese
think they should do
people,
it that
I
way.
watched
The
a Star Wars documentary
movies,
recently.
the movies should.
Japanese,
You shouldn't need to do fucking homework to watch a movie. If you make a movie series, the movies need to connect to each other. If you want to make a book series, that can
yeah,
be a
people,
spin-off or a parallel world with the same general
No, yeah,
vibe. But if you're
yeah. You
writing a
don't have to
book that
read
you
the
have to
books to
read as
enjoy the
fucking
movies.
homework of a movie, that's fucking
You
retarded,
do not
man.
have to read the
Not
books or the
Star Wars,
comics to
not
watch the
Star Wars
movie.
specifically, but what he was saying sounds really dumb. Like if I made a Kill All
and it's
Boneheads
really dumb.
TV show, and you had to read the Kill All Boneheads comic before you were able to understand the Kill All Boneheads TV show, what I've done is make a bad TV show.
I don't like it neither, but I just think that's how some Japanese properties do it. Like for example, Guilty Gear, because like really important like plot details to like progressing the story is hidden behind the pachinko game.
Well, isn't
Where
Guilty
if you
Gear a
didn't play
fighting
it, you
game
wouldn't know what
though?
happened.
Like fighting game
Yeah,
stories
I don't give
Guilty
a
only
Gear is a
shit
fighting game.
about.
fighting game stories
It's
only
like
really exist to facilitate characters fighting.
no,
The
like
only
Guilty
thing
Gear
I
has like
care about Guilty Gear is Bridget, and that's it. All right, take
dude.
Bridget out of the fucking Guilty Gear, and then put her in her own thing. Better product by far.
It's like I actually
I
know the
don't give a shit about.
story.
Mortal
I know
Kombat's
the
the only.
story. Mortal Kombat. That was actually what I was going to go on about. I know the story of Mortal Kombat from the first game up until the reboot. The first reboot, by the way, because they've rebooted it 3 times now, I think, which is fucking insane. Um, Especially because some of the main characters made a lot of progress, but ultimately the story only exists to facilitate characters continually fighting with each other. They ran out of
Yeah,
minions, so they made the main character a zombie, and they made his mentor a bad guy. See,
I
they pulled a reverse
I
card.
think
They took the Asian main character, and they replaced him with a white guy. They were ahead of the curb, and also reversing the trend.
were you more for Mortal Kombat guy or a Street Fighter type of guy?
I grew up on Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance,
I grew up on
and
Mortal
I
Kombat
only started playing.
Deception.
Let's kill each other. All right, no. Uh, yeah, my first Mortal Kombat game was Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance, and that Mortal Kombat was the only fighting game I had ever played until I played Street Fighter 6 a little bit because I got it because it's the story mode seemed kind of cool, and I
Yeah,
recently got Dragon Ball Fighter Z in order to play with my boyfriend who really likes Dragon Ball Fighter Z.
So
yeah, everyone likes Fighter C.
um Mortal Kombat. I don't like the way the games look now. They've lost the aesthetic. The characters used to have like very simple cartoony designs with like a single color
Yeah,
associated with them, and they had the big green health bars. And I don't. It has no clear aesthetic now. I don't like it.
I really like the big chunky like
Yeah,
fucking
the-
Shrek mud blood.
The blood wasn't really what I
I
was
think raising
talking
the
about.
frame rate kind of made Mortal Kombat
Totally
raising
globular.
raising the frame rate made Mortal Kombat look like ass.
I don't think the frame rate isn't really the issue for me, man. It's just the designs. Like you can tell which characters are old school characters and which characters are new characters, even as they mutilate the old school character design. The only new Mortal Kombat character, by new Mortal Kombat character, I mean any character that was introduced after like Mortal Kombat versus DC, is the cowboy guy is the only one that looks like an old school Mortal Kombat character. I don't know his name, but
Okay,
he looks like a red he looks like a red ninja with he looks like one of the ninjas just with a hat. Also, no, it wasn't. When I say old school, have you ever played Mortal Kombat Armageddon? That had like 70 characters before Smash ever did.
No, but the original is literally 4.
I don't mean the original game. I mean the original timeline. I mean the old school characters in.
Okay. Original timeline. Okay, I get it now.
I mean all of these guys, where you can very clearly see that they each have like a single color that represents them and like an iconic design. Like none of it's too complex. It all sort of gets the point across.
Yeah, I feel like I do agree with you that the newer ones are kind of like cluttered visually when it comes to like their design.
Yeah, and
they kind of have like the Marvel and like Marvel like superhero suit syndrome.
Oh god, I fucking hate Marvel character. Keep your fucking mask on challenge.
I'm looking for my favorite extremely minor villain character that only showed up once in Journey mode in Deadly Alliance, and I can't find him. He was like this zombie guy with a club with like a mace, like a Morning Star arm. He was really cool. I can't find him.
He wasn't a one-time character, by the way. Was he a zombie guy? Hold, never mind. I was thinking of there's an ogre guy with like a big club hand. I think his name is Moloch. I mean, like the demon.
Was it Moloch? Because he had flies. Like his whole thing.
Yeah, he was a boss in the end of Deadly Alliance, but he was also a playable character in Mortal Kombat Armageddon because every character was a playable character in Mortal Kombat Armageddon.
No, Moloch's too beefy. He was like a weird, like.
Yeah, the boss characters were playable and they were overpowered because you couldn't do knockback to them or hit stun or anything. You just did damage and that was it.
The character I'm thinking of is not Moloch.
What's your guys' opinion?
It's Draman. I'm thinking of Draman.
What do you guys think that Mortal Kombat, as of recent, has sort of just become like Fortnite? Or just like it's sort of just like a jumping off point for like people to add like DLC characters.
Draman was also playable, by the way. From what I've seen, the DLC characters in the new Mortal Kombat games fit perfectly fine, honestly. They're all like horror characters or characters from extremely bloody action movies, which totally fits the vibe.
Yeah.
You have characters like Spawn and like Jason Voorhees and shit. That makes sense. I think Rambo I see on this list is a little bit weird. And the Joker is the Joker fits, but I don't think only kind of. Like the Joker's violence is never it's fucked up, like people die, but I don't think it's ever as detailed as. Also, putting Rambo in Mortal Kombat is just sad. Rambo is a sad character. Like he's an insane, persecuted PTSD Vietnam vet. Like he's not like a cool action man.
Yeah, that'd be like putting like Bruce Willis from like Die Hard into Mortal Kombat as well.
I've never watched Die Hard.
Me neither. I've never watched a single Star Wars film as well. By the way, all my Star Wars info is just through like pop culture like knowledge.
What guys? Rick and
about Star Wars, the Clone Wars.
Rick and Morty from Mortal Kombat, guys. Rick and Mortal Kombat.
Just specifically the Clone Wars. Are you also like a fan of Gendy?
Gendy? Who's Gendy?
Gendy Tartakovsky, the guy that made Samurai Jack. Ugh.
The guy who animated the Clone Wars TV show.
I did not know about the guy who animated.
He animated a 3D show? I thought he only did 2D animation.
Wait, are you talking about which Clone Wars are we talking about?
When anybody talks about the Clone Wars, they're talking about the 3D show. They do. Nobody
Yeah,
gives a
the
shit about the
fucking
2D thing, dude. I'm sorry.
okay, I like the 2D thing because Grievous was really good in that show, but I never got to watch it.
Grievous was a type of character I wish we got more of, but that's about it. I feel like Star Wars. In the same way that I see Dan Harmon as like a kindred soul, I see Star Wars as sort of the dark mirror of what I worry my art, my story is, because it's this story that's supposed to be this big like rebellion, like group effort, but it really focuses on like five or six important people, while all like the war generals and the foot soldiers get sort of forgotten. And that's why you get characters like Admiral Akbar and General Grievous, which people latch onto because they're like the only people like that exist in the world that you see. Like, did anybody
That's
care about the
not how
pilot
it
of
is,
Red
though.
5? The fat dude from the first movie? Remember him? What's up with that
Star
guy?
Wars: The Clone Wars gave Plo Koon,
What
one
did
of
you
my
just call
favorite
him?
characters
That's
in the
you
whole
can't call
show.
it. You can't say that word.
No, different character. Plo Koon.
You can't say that word, man. That's a slur.
That's his name. That's his name. PLOKOON. That's his name.
Okay.
He doesn't.
He's the like weird meathead guy with the
I don't.
metal face mask.
I don't think he knows that slur, the Naga.
He's not he's stuck with casual racism. He doesn't got the competitive racism strats.
He doesn't have. Yeah, he's not like
I'm
deep
not
into
racist.
lore.
Fuck you. Anyway, one of my favorite characters. He literally has only like 4 seconds of screen time in the actual movies, and it's of him dying. He literally is a dude who he is just a random fucking pilot for a I think it was a TIE fighter or something. Maybe he had his own ship style, but he was just a dude, and he literally has 4 videos of screen time. And
Hello? 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 Can anyone hear me? Hello? 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 Yeah! Yeah! Can anyone hear me? Hello?
I think it was on your end, man.
Hi, you're back.
Cool.
Tracks.
Glub-
Sorry, did you not hear my very yelly defense of Plo Koon and his?
Someone had 4 screens. Someone had four screens. Listen, man. If they don't elaborate on the character, if they only have one line, that's not a character. That's my exact point. Is they don't actually elaborate on these characters.
Yeah, the show elaborates on him. You get to know him. You get to know him as a person, his personal philosophy. You learn to love the man. And then I went back and watched the movie again. He dies, and I cry because I never noticed that he died in the movie before, because I never even knew him until Clone Wars.
The character that you like doesn't exist in the movie. The character in the movie says nothing and dies.
I think he's in some of the comics, maybe, but that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, but the comics and the show were made after the fact. The character as written in those movies is nobody.
I'm talking about some of the older comics that like happened, that were like basically the sequels to the original movie.
They were prequels actually.
I'm saying
You mean actual sequels?
like the comics were actual sequels
Oh.
to the original films, but like 10 years before the prequels came out.
I know about those. I
There was
didn't
a
think those were what you were
huge
talking
gap of
about.
time. There was like a huge gap of time. People who like Star Wars were so starved for content for like 15 years that they consumed everything: books, comics, like.
I generally like I'm interested in the sort of like military general characters in rebellion stories like that, just because you don't see, like I said, a lot of stories will focus on like 4 or 5 young adults and teenagers that like change the whole world, which is why like one of my favorite like Avatar characters is Admiral Zhao, a character who dies at the end of the first season. and never gets
It's the
brought
guy who
up
fucking
again.
fries the fish, right?
He kills the fish, and it's weird because he's like Zuko's rival, and he's just like some dude who just wants to have like high rank in the military, and it's like what's up with this guy? Like this is a guy. Like this isn't
Yeah.
like a chosen one. This is just some dude.
Yeah, the Clone Wars TV show focuses on the clones. You get to know several clones who have like kind of varying personalities. They're people.
Oh,
you
yeah.
get to know them as people. Like
The
Fives, fucking
the whole existence of the clones is an unexcusable atrocity that tells me
Oh, yeah,
that
absolutely.
that the Republic's government needs to be dismantled entirely. Like
I
that's
fully fucking agree.
you
I
have
so fully fucking agree.
you have human beings, which in the Force they're normal people. Like everyone is individual in the Force, even if they have the
That
same
is
DNA.
literally talked about season 1.
Yeah, it's the first episode with Yoda and shit. I think it's been a while.
Yes, that one. Is that the first episode?
I think it is.
Then yes, it is literally the first episode.
And they're creating these people who are children, by the way. They're like fucking 5. They're creating
they get,
them
like, aged
to
up
die
and then,
in a
like-
war.
Yeah.
It's
Full atrocity.
it's millions upon
Get
millions of Frankenstein's monsters, basically.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the
It
Separatists use
becomes
robots.
a real thing.
The Separatists
Yeah.
use robots,
The morally
mind you.
The objectively correct choice, except until later, where like the robots actually kind of, because robots like droids in the
In the
fucking
show,
Star
they're
Wars
given
universe are,
personalities.
Like, pseudo sentient. No, they're
Some-
pseudo sentient
All
because
droids,
they're
though? I
never
thought it was
shut
just
off.
some of them.
It's if you don't shut off a droid, they develop personality quirks and like basically become people.
Okay, I thought it was
Oh,
only some
shit.
droids that were
And
like that.
all
Really
B1 battle droids
design choice?
are yes, basically they're supposed to be shut off and memory wiped after basically every fight, but they're not. Because it's too much to manage, because they have too many of them, they just don't give them the proper maintenance they need. So they're overtaxed with programming they're not meant to have, and then they basically are all people.
I have a question. You're like the Star Wars guy. Why did they build them that way in the first place?
Because originally they weren't. They didn't have personalities. They were controlled by a central computer that was on like a ship above a planet. But that was a really big weakness because you could just blow up the ship and all the robots would turn off. So they had to like jury rig droid personalities for them, stuffing them in stuffing like full droid brains into tiny little processing units. That's why they're mediocre and shit at every job they ever do, because they're completely overtaxed.
So I take back what I said about the droids being better, because now you have a situation where you have a sentient life form. You have something that has a mind and understands the world and doesn't have a soul in a world where the supernatural exists and the afterlife is a thing. Like when the clones die, their energy is like scattered back into the universe. And when the droids die, they're just gone.
There's a non-zero chance that if you as a droid live long enough and like learn to be one with the world around you, you can basically gain a soul.
That's interesting.
That's interesting, actually.
But it's like a very weak soul, and it's like you make it yourself. You have to work fucking super hard for it. But most of them don't have souls, and they're really fucking upset about it. Like they worry about it. They worry about dying because if they die, it's it for them unless they can live long enough to get a soul. So it's like they're all fucking terrified constantly.
I wonder, you know, like how like fucking Obi-Wan like comes back as like a ghost. If a droid soul comes back as a ghost, what would it look like?
It would look like what they remember themselves as, which is a droid.
Oh.
I don't think there is a droid Force Ghost, but there fucking might be. There's a lot of content in those books and comics and things that happened before the prequels.
Okay, so the
Which
issue
all
that I
got
have,
fucking-
going back to expanding upon shit that wasn't meant to be expanded on, and Adventure Time and shit, right, is it creates this world where the original franchise, whatever it is, like for Star Wars it's the first 3 movies, and for Adventure Time it's like the first couple of adventures Finn and Jake went on, the original run of whatever they're expanding on becomes like the central point to which through which all things convene and from which all things branch, but it also becomes fucking meaningless and like such a small blip where nothing important happens. Well, all this insane shit that also connects to this like one small period of time happens around them. It simultaneously expands the scope of the world to the point where the original series doesn't matter, but then it also makes the specific events that happen in the original series the most important thing that ever happened, because everything else is based around that. Which is why The Mandalorian sounds cool, because from my understanding, it has nothing to do with anything that actually... Like, it's in the Star Wars universe, but it kind of has nothing to do with anything that's happened in the Star Wars universe. Is that correct?
He was originally spawned during the really shitty Christmas special.
It's really fun.
The fucking Life Day special? That's, that's
the Life Day
where...
special is the only Star Wars piece of media I've ever actually watched.
You know, like, the funny fork sound sonic gun.
Yeah, like the thing you should... Yeah.
Like, all of the Mandalorian stuff, like, the lore started with the Life Day special.
What I'm saying is the literal events. It's not like he drops off the little baby Yoda on Coruscant, and then it's like, whoa, my name is Yoda, and then it rolls credits. It's not like directly tied in to any movie or anything, in the way that, like, Rogue One is like directly related to A New Hope.
Oh, also, R2-D2 probably has a soul.
This is a question. It wasn't a statement, because I don't know anything about The Mandalorian. It was a question.
Okay, sorry. I don't watch The Mandalorian. I watched, like, part of the first season, but it wasn't for me, because I like animated stuff mostly. I was
gonna ask. With the baby Yoda, I've heard like things that he's not actually Yoda. It's just
he's not Yoda. He was never Yoda. Are you retarded? He was never Yoda.
Of course he's not.
They call him Baby Yoda
because he didn't have a name. Because he didn't have a name when they first introduced him.
They didn't have a name, and it was the first of Yoda's same species that we had seen since the movie. He didn't even have a species name.
Are you forgetting about Yaddle? Are you forgetting about Yaddle? The female Yoda.
Who the fuck is Yaddle?
The female Yoda who was part of the Jedi Council, bro.
I'm Googling Yaddle.
Yattle.
You guys are confusing because it's like baby Groot.
Bro just saw Yaddle for the first time.
This looks like my aunt. This is fuck.
Oh god. Oh, okay. Oh, sorry. I just saw like the comic version of her, or maybe this is like fan art.
They made her look like 20% like more enough.
Oh no, they yassified her.
I've never heard of Yaddle before. Oh no.
They did yassify her.
Oh, is this like? Oh, this is like. Oh god. Wow. Yeah, I've never seen. Oh god, I'm waking my family up right now. Oh my god.
For those of you that just hear the laughs, I sent the meme. I sent the one meme that Yaddle's in. Anyone who's watching this knows it. There's no visuals for the people listening because we're still recording a podcast, by the way.
Yeah.
Bed flashlight. Bed flashlight with a picture of Yaddle on the bed. No. You're not allowed. This is a crime. This is a crime. Okay, sorry. Why am I laughing still? It's not even that funny.
Naga, I'm sorry.
It's just her fucking face. She saw. It's her face. She just looks so fucking dead inside.
Chemo, you've wanted to say something for a bit now.
I'm curious.
Talk. I'm done.
What is your favorite Adventure Time episode? Actually,
my favorite episode, like period. Fuck, bro.
Yeah, that's a hard question though.
For me, it's not. I haven't seen like anything fast like season 6.
I have like the first answer that popped into my head, but it's the most like, it's the equivalent of saying your favorite Spider-Man movie is the one where they all cross over. So I'm trying to think of like my hot take favorite episode, and not the one that everyone loves that like is held up as like the point where it's what was missing, dude. I like what was missing. It's got the
It was
characterization,
yeah,
it's
it's
got
really
the jokes, it's got the weird magic, it's got the music. It's got
What's the
everybody.
episode?
If regardless of what you like Adventure Time for, it has something for you. What was missing is the episode
What's the
where
episode?
where their shit gets stolen by a guy who makes a magic door, and they have to sing a song to open up the door.
It's a good episode.
It's a good episode, but it's one of those things where like it is the epitome of Adventure Time episodes. Like regardless of what you like, it's got something for you. It's the most like milk toast answer ever. I wanted to give like a hot take, but I don't got one.
My favorite episode. Fuck.
While you're thinking, my favorite episode is Puhoy. It's the one where Finn like goes into a pillow fort and emerges into like another universe and basically has got an
That's
entire
in my top
episode
3.
life.
That's a
definitely
good one.
my top 3.
I like that not because of the specific story, but because like that's how dreams really are. Like I've lived
That happens
many
to me,
lives.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry, man.
that
You've
happens to me
shifted.
every
Sorry,
fucking
no, I'm
week.
not. We're not talking about it.
It's
We're
It's
not
not
talking about
shifting. It's a fucking
alright?
dream. It's not real.
I know, but like but people have built children and women on TikTok have built a religion out of having dreams about other lives.
Okay, misogynist.
No, like young women under the age of 26.
Talking about young women under the age of 26. Real incel arc going on here, huh? Incel Redcap
No, but
talking
like,
about femoids.
do you want me to bring up the fucking TikToks where this woman talks so hard about how she had a life at Harry Potter's Hogwarts and cried because she lost that life and hasn't been able to get back to it?
I understand
Do
the
you want
majority
me
of
to
people
play?
that do this are women, but it's not like a hard rule, and I don't like making those generalizations unless it is a hard rule.
It is like 98% women, and the non-women
Oh,
are
bringing
under
in
the age of 20.
percentages now, huh?
I think
Well, I don't know if you know about
I
this,
think
but there's a
it's- I think-
there's a
I think
13%
Hey.
chunk.
I'm going to kill you.
I feel like guys get these dreams equally as much, but I think we're just too busy doing other stuff like
They're
Googling
dreams
it.
though. Like
Like,
dreams
you
aren't
know.
real. You have
Like,
a
I get
crazy
everyone
vivid
has had a whole life
hallucination.
dream.
You have a crazy vivid
Yeah.
hallucination every time you go to sleep.
The truth is, if I was a fucking child when this shit started, I would have fucking converted to this religion because I had a fucking dream when I was like 10 that I was like a dragon and lived an entire life as a dragon, had a dragon spouse and dragon children, and did day-to-day shit like shopping.
That explains
Like
a lot
it was
about
that granular. It was that granular for like, and I lived in that world for seemingly years. Like I started single, went on dates, got married, had kids, did daily shit like washing dishes and shopping for like a long time in the dream, and then I woke up and cried. All right.
you. What's crazy?
Did you have like that? Did you have like that moment of lucidity where it's like, "Where's my wife?" when you first woke up and slowly
Yes,
realized,
I
"Oh, yeah,
did have
this
that
piece of
moment of
shit."
non-lucidity.
A
I
couple
looked
of-
at my
Yeah, dude.
fucking hands and was shocked that it wasn't shiny blue claws anymore.
A couple of
Alright.
days ago, my dreams are weird because when I'm dreaming, I kind of always know I'm dreaming, but only in the sense that like you always know you're breathing, where like you don't always pay
Yeah.
attention to it, but it is there, right? So that's how it is with dreaming. Is I'm always like kind of lucid dreaming, and at one point I had a dream where someone like as I was waking up was freaking out and was like, "Listen, you know that thing, the thought experiment where people are like, oh, what if the dream is real life and real life is dream? It's true, it really is. I don't want you to go back there. I don't. We can jump between these universes and everything's really abstract. Whenever you go to this real world, it's hard to get you back." And he was like freaking out as I was waking up. That'll fuck with you.
That's fucking terrifying.
I
That's
fucking hate lucid.
terrifying.
I fucking hate lucid dreaming because like whenever I realize I'm in a dream, it's like, oh yeah, I can throw a fireball. And it's like the pussiest fireball ever.
See, whenever I
I
realize
had
I'm
one
dreaming, I
lucid dream
immediately
in my
freak
entire
out
life.
and wake up because my biggest fear is finding out that my entire life isn't real. So when that happens, I freak out and like I struggle to wake up
Scares
sometimes.
you awake.
Not even. I have to force
I've
myself
had-
awake. I have to
Okay,
literally
I've had
grab my
inception
eyelids.
moments where I woke up 6 times before really waking up, and that was terrifying actually.
I've
Because I
done
was
that,
aware
so I've
that I was like trying to wake up. It was bad.
I've done that so
Yeah.
many times that I know how to tell the difference, and it has to do with feeling my eyelids because my eyelids hurt when I force them
Mhm.
open.
Okay, For me, it's numbness to pain because basically in dreams, I don't. It's not that I don't feel pain. It's that I hit something really hard and it goes numb.
I feel pain
Like
in
I was
dreams,
hit
but
with a shot of.
it's not as intense as it should be.
The only real pain I feel in dreams are pains I'm experiencing in real life that don't wake me up. Like I'm so used to having like Charlie horses, like a severe cramp where my leg completely locks up, that I don't even wake up anymore.
Here's a tip. Here's a tip, by the way. If you feel like you're about to have a Charlie horse, like just stand up and start walking.
I've tried doing that. I've literally had my leg lock up from underneath me, and I face planted onto the ground.
Damn.
The only thing to do is to straighten my leg out, and then like squeeze it as hard as I can with my fingers, digging my fingers into the like meat of my leg until it goes away. All right. Anyway,
dreams. So something about dreams. I have a consistent power. I have a consistent power set in my dreams. Actually, you guys read my comic, Kill All Boneheads, and you're not gonna fucking believe this.
Yeah.
I have third eye blind in my dreams.
In your dreams, no
yes.
fucking way.
I can also glide. I can like if I get a running start, I can like flap my arms to jump a little higher and glide, but I can't like straight up fly.
Before I forget, I've only had one truly lucid dream my entire life. And when I realized it was a lucid dream, I tried to do shit. And me trying to do shit broke the dream to the point where the entire universe collapsed and I woke up.
Yeah, that'll happen.
I was in a room. I was in a blank white room, like a foggy white room filled with pillars, like Roman pillars. And I was like, holy shit, I'm dreaming. Let me try something real quick. And I tried to move a pillar. I tried to levitate a pillar. And what it did, and suddenly, as I tried to manipulate the dream world, the pillar collapsed, and then it set off like a chain reaction where all of the pillars collapsed, and then the floor underneath me collapsed, and as it all disintegrated into nothing, I woke up.
That'll happen, man.
That must be scary.
I've never been able to do it. I've never been able to lucid dream again, and unless one time thing is, I don't know if this was a lucid dream or not, but I had a dream. I was dreaming, and then my leg started really, really hurting because it was a real cramp in real life. And I realized it was a real cramp in real life, but by that point, I was like kind of sort of already awake. So I wasn't sure if that was technically a lucid dream or not.
My dreams are really vivid, man, and they're really like weirdly detailed in the sense that like I said earlier, I feel pain in my dreams. It's not as intense as regular pain, but it's still enough to I'm not joking.
To hurt.
I know what it feels like to have an axe through your chest.
Damn.
Like don't do that shit. That
I
hurts.
comprehend. Don't get hurt. That shit hurts. Fuck off.
Don't do it. That's the doctor advice.
It's like I could describe in detail what it feels like for your insides to be cold because they're exposed to the air around you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's ugh. You know how in real life, I don't know if anyone else has this, but I have like in jokes with myself, like things that happen repeatedly that I've turned into a joke, but it's an inside joke with an audience of just me. If I don't know if you guys have that sort of thing. In my dreams, my dreams will have like a fake history and a fake past that often includes inside jokes with myself that are based off of things that never happened.
That's crazy.
I don't think. I mean, it's been such a long time that I've probably completely and totally forgotten that like dragon universe I lived in for a while. But I think I had inside jokes at that time, but I don't remember any of them because it would happen when I was 10 or whatever.
Can I say I'm surprised you didn't become a scaly from that experience?
He did.
I did.
He did.
Oh, damn. Okay.
Like my profile picture may be a skeleton right now.
It used to be a plane. It used to be an anthroplane, man. I found.
It wasn't a plane, it was a synth.
Can I don't think this identifies you at all. I've stumbled upon art pieces that he commissioned by accident because I'm such a fucking porn-addled degenerate that I've stumbled upon things that he has asked to get made and paid to get made.
It was like a collaboration between me and the artist because they were really into some of the stuff there, and it was like a whole thing. I'm like friends. Like, I'm very close friends with the person who made that.
I'm very close friends with a lot of porn artists as well, so it's really funny whenever I come across their art in the wild.
I've
Like, oh,
stumbled upon
yeah, my
a
friend
couple
drew
of
that.
artists I know personally. Mostly from the How's Your Webcomic community. I'm outing myself as a 4chan user now. There is a 4chan webcomic community called How's Your Webcomic, and I've stumbled upon there's an artist in that group called Laundry Mom, who makes like MILF art, but like specifically like through like kind of a lesbian lens because she's a woman. And I didn't
Yeah.
I the. I think I knew her from the porn first, and when I saw her in the Discord, I was like, "Yo, yo!" And then
Could you send like an image? This sounds like very vivid.
the of what of her art? Look it up on Rule 34, faggot. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that word. I'm
Okay,
sorry.
fine.
I'm sorry, audience. I like men.
Hey man,
I jack
get
off
it.
to
You're
gay porn.
You're allowed to say it.
I jack off to gay porn. I'm allowed.
You can reclaim it. How does it feel?
I'm not reclaiming it. I was using it as an insult.
No, you can use it as an insult, but you're still reclaiming it because whatever. I don't know.
Okay.
Hey, do you know what? There are a couple slurs for white people I think are fucking hilarious.
None of the slurs for
Cracker-
white
crackers are
people
funny.
have any
No,
power
that's
though.
boring.
It's funny.
Cracker's boring. Snow roach.
The slurs for white
Funny-
people are
when
funny
the words are close
because they're
together.
trying so hard. Because like it's not it's because they're trying too hard that makes it funny. The actual words are never
Yeah.
really the funny.
The fact that it made my black my black coworkers uncomfortable when I said the slurs for white people is hilarious though.
Probably
what
just
part,
because
like,
it's a weird
what
thing
part
to
of the other one?
do. Because you were being a weirdo. That's why they were uncomfortable. Okay, I lied. Laundry Mom
Like,
doesn't do a
like-
lot of gay stuff. It is mostly straight stuff.
Are we allowed to say like white slurs on this podcast?
This is YouTube, man. We can say whatever we want. YouTube doesn't
By the way,
isn't like
I
Twitch.
found one of the quotes.
YouTube.
Times are bad.
No,
Children-
I was taken down for hate speech for one of my videos, but we talked about this with
what did you
Chemo.
do?
Nothing. Here's the thing: the timestamp that it gave me for when it happened was the last second of the video, which is silence. So I have no idea.
It's crazy.
Don't use my policy is that don't be actually hateful. Use whatever vocabulary words you'd like, but don't use them to actually be a hateful person.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
By the way, we never got to your favorite episode.
I can't. I just can't choose.
Can't choose.
There's
just
something.
can't.
You might have a toss up between a couple of them. Just throw one out.
One of
Just
them
one,
is the
just
pillow
one.
episode. Another
Save,
one
okay.
is the fucking like. I guess I have to pick one of the episodes involving Fern, because I love Fern.
Fern?
I liked Fern. That's one of the better
really
parts
liked
of the
Fern.
end of the series.
And then
The fucked up thing
I think
with
maybe
Fern.
the tower was really good as well.
When
Dungeon
we-
Train. Dungeon Train was
Dungeon
really
Train.
good.
Fuck yeah, I fuck with Dungeon Train so hard.
Bro, didn't they make an entire show out of that? Didn't they make like a whole show out of that?
Dude, what if...
No, man. They call it Infinity Train, right? That was the Dungeon Train show.
I mean,
What's the voice? Okay, I have a question. Was like the voice for Tulip, like the girl from Dungeon Train, also voices? Does she also voice Gwen?
Dude, I know nothing about Dungeon Train. I know the name. That's
Okay,
it.
never mind.
Or Infinity Train or
I
whatever.
don't care. I don't know anything about Infinity Train either.
Okay,
Dungeon
I
Train, the
someone
episode
user
was
who
really
watched
good
Infinity Train.
because it's like the whole like seeing what you are gonna turn into kind of thing. Where like if it was about loss and about not getting bogged down in the distractions you're using to soften the blow of being alone.
Yeah.
See, that's
Because,
the
like,
sort of
Finn, after
that's-
having his like whole relationship thing, basically throws himself into this infinite dungeon that just like it's like the classic RPG where you fight Crab and then level 99 you fight Blue Crab. And he was like going through getting
So-
increasingly in strong loot, and like Jake
That-
looks into a crystal ball that sees the future and sees him and Finn just being on this dungeon train as old men dying of old age because they completely abandoned their life to give themselves in to the distraction from
So
pain.
I like the episode, but I have some criticisms about specifically what you said. In the sense that
I
that's
really like that part.
that's the sort of Steven Universe writing that I joked about earlier. Because the Adventure Time, it is a show about wacky adventures, and I feel like the show doesn't often enough. So it sort of it piggybacks off of like D&D, right? But I feel like we often don't see them doing the default adventures, like literally going into dungeons and fighting monsters that often. It happens like 4 or 5 times in the show max, and Dungeon Train is one of them. The Dad's Dungeon is one of them. The episode where Finn and Jake get split up is one of them, and then the episode with Flame Princess is one of them. And I think that's all the times they actually literally go into a dungeon. And I feel I feel like we needed a little bit more of that just to sort of serve as the baseline for what the show sort of is, so that all the other episodes are like, here's what they're doing on the side sort of situation. And I think the fact that they made the negative thing that Finn does to cope in that episode the thing that he does for the entire show just because it's fun, sort of has mixed messaging.
Actually, yeah, I never really thought of that way. In terms of like, yeah, that is the thing that he does, and like he finds fun, like dungeoneering. Okay. uh,
Sorry, my brain turned off for a minute there.
I made like a real substantive point. I wasn't even being a hater like I normally am.
No,
Yeah.
no, I heard your point. I think it was after your point where my brain turned off because I was digesting it, and then
Okay.
I said something.
Yeah,
I don't remember what I said.
Sorry. Yeah, it was what you said that I just in one ear out the other. Sorry.
He just agreed with me basically.
Okay, cool.
You
Yeah, I
guys
know.
have-
Like it could have, the show could have used a lot more of those extremely poignant episodes about things in order to solidify it as like a theme instead of it just being hee hoo wacky show and then hit you.
I think the better version of the Dungeon Train episode was Breezy with Finn going around kissing all the princesses and then the bee that falls in love with his arm.
Yeah, because
I didn't
yeah,
like
I
that
agree
episode. That episode made me uncomfortable and
It
me
made you
feel weird.
uncomfortable because Lumpy Space Princess raped Finn, and it like wasn't even subtle about it. I'm almost
I
certain
totally
that's the
agree because,
exact reason. It's
That's,
it's fucked
that
up.
Didn't help. It didn't help. That and the like bee flower thing where like she changed herself, and then she changed herself for someone who was like didn't love them, and it was like a whole thing, and that made me uncomfortable, and I didn't like that either.
That's how it be.
Finn should have gotten with the bee. I have such a huge crush on the bee's voice actress.
I dated
I
someone
did
for
love
2
her
years
voice.
who never once told me they loved me.
Sometimes that's just the way it be.
We're still friends. We play Minecraft together, but like we were just friends, and I like fully projected my loneliness onto them so much that like we dated for too long.
That's how it be sometimes.
I'm much
Yes.
happier now with my gay ass cat boyfriend, who actually loves me and tells me that they love me, and I'm not projecting jack shit. I can feel their affection towards me. It's not just me being affectionate to them, and then just like me feeling the like reflection back off.
If this isn't too
I
much
think
to
I
intro-
think
if-
that
if-
the bee
if-
episode might actually be my favorite episode of like the Finn is a horny teenager era, because I feel like all of the
I
other
hated that
episodes.
whole era, and
I
that's in
hated
that
it too.
era.
I hated it too. I think that's the one good episode out of that, because every other episode that tries to do something with that just sort of falls flat. Like the whole like I got Ice King and Flame Princess to fight so I can have a wet dream. That's the sort of thing that I don't know. I wasn't feeling that. That didn't hit
Hated
as
that.
hard. That didn't hit.
Hated that shit so much.
It didn't hit with the
By the
same
way,
like
guys,
the Breezy episode hits me with a real. The Fire and Ice episode hits me with a huh? You know?
can you say
Hits me with a ew.
fucking the Breezy episode? Everyone fucking hated it when it first came out. Because, like,
Understandably
that
so.
was
It's
also the
not
same episode where they
it's not a it's not a feel good episode.
for
It's sort of
those
a it's
reasons.
sort of like a I don't want to be be like called out like this. I don't want to be confronted with this shit.
Not even for those reasons. It's because that's the same episode Finn got his arm back.
No, okay,
Yeah,
no,
people
I was
were
mad about
upset
that too.
There was like no, yeah.
I was mad about that because he
'Cause
gets
so like they,
Finn gets his arm back and loses his arm over and over and over again after the first time that it happened. It was built up to. I don't know if
He
you
just kept it off the first
if you
time.
remembered the show for the first 5 seasons. They hyped this shit up. They kept hinting that he was going to lose his arm and get a cool robot arm. And in the comics, whenever they flash forward to the future, he had a cool robot arm. And so when he lost his arm,
Yeah.
I was like, oh, hell yeah, he got to get the robot arm. And then he just didn't get the robot arm. And then he got the flower. And then he got, like, a grass arm for a little bit, I think it was. And then I think he lost his arm again and got, like, a weird holographic projection. He might have gotten the holographic projection before the grass arm, actually. And then he lost it
The mental
again.
projection was the tower episode.
I think he
It
lost
wasn't
it.
a real arm. It was like a
I think he lost it again. And then he got the robot arm finally.
yeah. The ghost arm was a psychic manifestation of his desire to kill his dad.
It was interesting to see the main character get a little bit of magic. That's about it. I think Finn.
I really liked that. Yeah, I liked the tower episode. It was
I-
like one of my top 5.
I don't. That's more that Steven Universe writing where, like, I don't feel like Finn. How'd I put it? I feel like Finn probably would, thinking of the character as he originally existed, might care about humanity in general more than he cares about his specific deadbeat dad. Because he had Joshua and Margaret. He had parents that loved him.
Yeah. Yeah, he just was a little messed up at the time because this is like right after the emotional fucking scalding of the relationship shit. He was in a bad fucking place.
I feel like Finn would end up having, like, I think Finn should have had beef with his dad, but I don't think it should have been familial beef. I feel like it should have just been like, you're a villain, grr, and also you're my dad, so that's
You're
kind of
an
weird.
I mean, that's kind of how it felt to me.
To me, it felt like it was just like, you abandoned me, you were supposed to love me, fuck you, I'm
It
gonna
was
strangle
also-
you.
No, it was because he was a manipulative piece of shit who tried to insert him into his life specifically to get stuff from him. And was manipulating innocent Finn's feelings about it. And gave him that shit.
When they first introduced him, I didn't
'cause
think he
Mer-
was Finn's dad when they first introduced him. Straight up, I thought he was just a human. Because he
He's just
seemed like...
fucking with him. That's what I also thought.
Because he acted like he didn't know who Finn was. So I thought that it like he seemed like he was pretending to know Finn, if that makes any
I
sense.
mean, he did last see him as a baby, so, you know.
That was also reinforced in the Rocket episode when like he was asking the dad to like tell him his backstory, and it sounded like fake as shit. How he had to fight sharks on
A
like,
boat, I guess. Yeah, I thought that was just a random human and not actually his dad.
Yeah.
I also find it funny that they keep bringing Martin back. Like in the spin-offs and shit, he just sort of shows up.
Just kill the motherfucker and let him be dead.
No, this dude is the main character. He's off on space adventures and shit. He's got his own
I
like
know.
Flash Gordon situation.
Yeah, and he keeps inserting his lives and adopting old men babies and like all that shit. And then being a manipulative piece of shit dad to everyone in the universe.
He's not a good
Making
person,
promises.
but
No, he's the
he's a
worst.
fun
I want
he's
him
a
dead.
fun character though. He's like Bender to me. I view Martin like I view Bender. And if you look at him from that perspective, he's a lot more fun.
I kind of wish he
I've not
fulfilled the
seen that
role
much
that
of
the King of
Futurama.
Wu, that the King of Wu sort of occupied. Like I don't like the King of Wu. I would prefer it like
The King of Wu, I think his voice was my issue. He made me uncomfortable when I think he was meant to be a Bender sort of character.
yeah.
I really liked what they did with Sweet Pea though, with the King of Wu.
Yeah, it was awesome.
I love Sweet Pea, dude. I was really hoping that we were gonna see a little bit more of him in the specials or I don't know, something.
Have you seen any of the supplementary stuff like like fucking like the Fiona and Cake one that came out
I've
recently?
seen all the animations. I've
Damn.
seen all the shows. Yeah, the Fiona and Cake stuff. I Oh, no, excuse me. Let me take a sip of a drink. It was all
I
right.
feel like a lot of the stuff in the middle was kind of just filler.
I would have preferred to just. I liked the part where we were in the main universe, and I wish we got to see more of just that. I wish we got to see more buff adult Finn. Yeah. I think they went a little bit too hardcore on the blood. I think because they could finally show real blood, they just decided to literally bathe Finn in blood in that episode. Like,
I liked it kind of because it was like the show has grown up with us, and like we're full ass adults. We can handle ridiculous anime blood now.
It was too much though.
Let it happen.
It was. I'm fine with letting the blood happen. I just feel like it was too much, and it wasn't even played as a joke.
Shocking how much it was.
It wasn't shocking.
It was shocking how much it was, and
I've seen,
liked that.
I've seen cartel beheading videos, man. Seeing a cartoon character bathed in blood isn't like shocking. It's just
I'm very glad I've never seen a cartel beheading video, and I swear to God, if you try to send me one, I will block you and never talk to you again.
Chemo might do that.
The ones where it's just one slice. The good ones are the ones where it's just one slice. The worst ones is when they use a dull knife to cut someone's head off.
I don't really want to get into the details, bud.
Yeah, let's not. Can we not?
The thing with Finn, in Adventure Time, it didn't feel like it was shocking. It didn't feel like it was funny. It just felt like they were going overboard just because they could. It's like when a show goes from being on network TV to being on a streaming service, so they just say fuck and shit over and over again just because they can. Adventure Time if it was written by Vizzypop.
I do love how like the amount of fake swears they come up with at Adventure Time.
That's a thing, man. So I was fine with the little bit of swearing they mix in the Fiona and Cake show. However,
I like the Fiona and Cake show a lot.
However, it did upset me because it wasn't just the characters swearing. It also meant that they weren't saying the wacky lingo anymore.
Yeah, they don't say like what the Bjork or whatever.
What the stuff?
I think Finn did do that because he grew up saying it and still says it. Like Finn still does the wacky he who swears because that's what he always used.
The
is
writing,
it just me, or I feel like
sorry,
it's just like the fake swearing like later on in the later on sort of sounded forced because like in the first season whenever they they fake swore. Because they said something stupid, you can feel like there's a lot of emotion behind it.
The vibes changed.
Later on,
the vibes changed. The show got less wacky, and random, and became like a little bit too serious. Yeah. So when you're in the middle of a battlefield in a war, you can't go. Oh, holy kerplow!
Smells out. All right.
The Fiona and Cake, it felt so. Okay, this is gonna sound really weird, but I'm a generational warfare kind of guy, right? The earlier seasons of Adventure Time felt like they were written by like Gen Xers and very early millennials, right? The Fiona and Cake show felt like it was written by the kind of people that grew up reading Harry Potter. Like Finn is not okay. He is a chosen one, but he wasn't originally. He's like a catalyst comet, meaning he's important. But he's not like the center of the universe, right? Fiona and Cake are chosen ones. They were made as the main characters of their universe by Prismo. It very much felt like I was a normal girl, but I'm actually destined for a life of magic. As opposed to like, I'm going to go out with this sword and kill evil stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
It's not a bad series overall, but that is a criticism.
Really liked it.
What the fuck was wrong with Prismo's voice? He didn't sound
different voice actor.
He's very sad and old.
Different voice actor.
Also, like his original version of himself died, so like the new kind of version was a little bit different.
It is a different voice actor.
If you want a lore reason and not a real reason.
I preferred his old voice actor. His old voice actor had a little bit of a lisp and an accent.
He did,
right? An accent more so than the lisp. I don't know why I said the lisp first. I'm sorry. His voice actor.
It's a definite part of him.
His voice actor, I want to say. I don't know where he's from. I don't want to. Prismo voice actor. I at one point I guessed it like perfectly, and I was like, oh my god.
He sort of has the same thing as Abed from the Community.
Whatever. I think they are the same ethnicity, but Abed doesn't have an accent.
Oh yeah.
Pakistani, yeah. So the new voice actor, I don't think is from Pakistan, and he doesn't have the accent. He just has the lisp, and it's weird.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it would be weirder if he tried to mimic the accent though, because that would have been.
Yeah, that would sound so fucking.
I mean, they could have just
would have been bad.
they could have gotten another guy from Pakistan to do the voice.
I mean, how many?
A lot more than you think,
Pakistani
Lantern.
voice
A lot
actors-
more than you think. This
Hey,
is why
let me fucking
representation
finish my
matters.
sentence. Let me finish my sentence.
How many high-level Pakistani voice actors live in California? All right.
High level, not many, because there's not many roles for people like them. This is why representation matters, because whenever there's only 2 or 3 characters that fit a demographic, that means that only 2 or 3 actors are going to get the job. I'm not normally like this. I normally am the kind of person that says, oh, representation, I mean, whatever, you as long as the character's good. But you know what? I have an actual point now. I'm not just using identity politics. This is a genuine point here, I think. They should have just gotten the
Children
same
no
guy.
longer obey their parents, and everyone is writing a book, Cicero, 43 BCE.
They should have just gotten the same guy to do it, though. Tom
Yeah.
Kenny.
I agree with you, but I fucking hate hearing Tom Kenny, John DiMaggio, Tara Strong in every goddamn cartoon.
You say that as if those 3 aren't mainstays on Adventure Time. I don't think Tara Strong is, but Tom Kenny and John DiMaggio are.
I am pretty sure Tara Strong has.
I know, they're
like
fucking
a pretty
everywhere.
I'm pretty sure Tara Strong has a role in Adventure Time.
Not as a
Actually,
main
I'm-
character. She's probably a side
Yeah,
character at some point.
I think she has, actually.
I think she's just Breakfast Princess, I think.
She records, I think, yeah.
The thing is with Tom Kenny, John DiMaggio, every voice he does sounds the same, is the issue with him. Tom Kenny has a huge range. Think about this. Tom Kenny's the guy that voices SpongeBob, and that's not the only thing he's known for. Like, SpongeBob is such a huge series that you'd expect that the guy that voices SpongeBob is known for just that. And he's not.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think he's fine. Tara
think he's
Strong
fine as-
is
he's like-
a Zionist.
Oh,
What are your thoughts on that, Redcap? Would you like to elaborate your thoughts on that?
That's a big,
Wait,
really big ass.
This is news to me. Tara Strong is a Zionist?
Like an actual Zionist,
Yeah,
yes.
she is.
She's the kind of person who is genuinely like you'll say bombing hospitals is bad, and she'll be like, do you condemn Hamas?
There was a Hamas cell in the basement of that thing. No, it wasn't. All right. There's a Hamas basement there's a Hamas basement in the base of that hospital. All right.
Here's the thing about human shields, right? Using human shields is so fucked up because it works. That's the point, right? It's supposed to be fucked up because you're not going to shoot some innocent civilians. When you shoot the human shield, you no longer have the moral high ground. You've killed a child, right? Like,
Well, it's not even just a human shield thing. They're just bombing hospitals because hospitals are where you treat the injured people who survived the bombings.
I'm saying
Israel wants to wipe
with
out Palestinians.
I'm aware what they
It's a
actually
genocide.
want,
It's
but I'm
not.
saying even within their own logic, it's fucked.
Yeah. I'm upset. I'm upset that Tara Strong is a Zionist because I'm upset every time I learn anyone is a Zionist.
Are you surprised? I don't
So
want to sound
funny
racist.
it's
I
like-
don't
It's like,
Bad.
I don't want to
Sorry,
sound racist, but she is a Hollywood Jew. I'm not sure what you'd expect from her. Most
I
of
mean,
those
plenty of Jewish people aren't Zionists.
I
because
said
they have
specifically a Hollywood Jew, specifically the kind of rich detached person who doesn't really have to give a shit about anything that happens in anyone else's life.
I'm sure there are plenty of Jewish people in Hollywood who are pro-Palestine.
Maybe. I don't know. I don't really respect rich and famous people in general.
Zionists are
The minority of Jewish people overall, maybe, but
exactly. Yeah.
Hollywood, man, they're shitheads.
Living in Beverly Hills.
Hills, Beverly Hills.
Weezer,
I'm like a celebrity.
fucking love Weezer.
Dude, fuck Weezer.
Fuck you.
God, it is 10 a.m. Shouldn't you be in bed?
He's out of the group. He hates Weezer.
He removed You removed him from the group. Damn, Oh, I didn't know he hated Weezer.
I'm adding him back.
Damn.
I'm adding him back.
My friend requested him anyway, just in case. I'm
Is there?
sorry, Naga overreacted and banned you for hating Weezer.
It was not an overreaction.
What?
It was a perfectly reasonable reaction.
No, it didn't let me finish. I like Pinkerton and I like Blue.
I
The
like
rest
the
is
first two.
kinda,
I know.
eh.
You know what's better than Weezer?
I kind of like Ratitude, actually.
You know what's better than Weezer?
Okay, green is good. I'd say green is like good. Green
You
is
know.
Everyone uniquely hates Ratitude, but I kind of like a couple songs from Ratitude.
You know what's better than Weezer? Deezer.
Anyway, what? Geezer.
Deezer.
Geezer.
Yeah.
You just use an AI to age up all of the
That's not-
people.
No, Deezer. Deezer.
I know. I made a joke. Geezer. Yeah, because that's also funny.
I haven't actually listened to most of the Weezer albums. The only time I've listened to the Weezer albums through the Deezer.
The thing is, Deezer is
This is
better
the-
if
the
you
one-
have listened to the albums. There's in jokes. The original conceit of Deezer was basically Neil Cicierega's mouth sounds, but
Yeah.
for Weezer instead of Smash Mouth.
Yeah. Fucking.
Dead air, dead air, dead air, dead air, dead air, dead air, dead air.
Neil Cicierega.
I'm
like-
sorry.
I don't like-
I'm completely lost now. What?
Two
We
truck,
started talking
two
about
trucks
Weezer,
having
and then
sex.
My brain turned off again.
two
trucks-
trucks,
good
two
times.
trucks having sex.
You never see it
Having
come,
sex.
man.
My muscles involuntarily
By the
flex.
9, I'm tweaking. All right. This person corn reaction.
Fucking.
Okay, can we get back on track?
Dude, we awesome.
We went off track in like the first hour, and now we're in hour number 3.
I said everything I wanted to say about The Princess Bride. It's the movie of all time.
And why?
I don't think you understand how podcasts
podcast
work.
still
We just
going?
sort of that was
It's
our
a podcast.
jumping off
I
point.
thought it was like I thought our thing was like what, an hour and a half long. We're already triple that.
Okay, but we weren't just because we were just talking about Shrek, and you were in a rush to go to bed. It's almost noon right now. I'm not going to sleep. I'm
Aren't
just
you in a rush to go to bed 3 hours ago?
not anymore, man. I've already
You're gonna yell at me for.
I've
being
already
tired
accepted.
when you
I've
chose
already
to stay
accepted.
up.
I've already accepted that I'm not getting a good night's sleep. I have
Do
already.
you have work?
No, luckily, if I had work, I
This
would
is
have been asleep.
good,
I'm not
okay.
staying. No, when I have work,
Good.
I'm not staying up for anything.
Good. I'm fucking glad, honestly, because I wasn't sure.
You know what?
You are a manic, all right?
I'm not currently in a manic
Yeah, sorry.
episode.
Well, I mean, you could have been. I wouldn't know because I'm fucking oblivious to.
I
social bullshit.
still
I'm
haven't
super
released
autistic.
the first episode of this podcast
Dude,
yet. I
dude,
think I'm going
same.
to. I think I'm going to release the first episode of this podcast after we're done recording this, like the episode that me and you recorded about Shrek. Do you think I should do it weekly? This is weekly Sunday uploads? Is that's good.
That sounds cool.
That sounds
I think
Sunday's
That's
a good
good.
time.
the thing is, I have a lot of fun recording these, but I hate hearing my own voice because I'm like I talk way too much. Like I don't let my guests talk enough, and I'm like really overbearing and like I speak with too much like weight. Not like my words actually mean anything, but like I have the sort of aggression to me that can come off as sort of domineering and sort of like narcissistic. And so I hate hearing
fine
myself
with it.
talk.
I like.
I'm too self-aware to enjoy myself, but I'm also not self-aware enough to actually do anything about it.
That's the worst position to be in.
The thing is,
when
I
it comes
think
to, like personal faults.
arguing with people like how me and Redcap will argue about stuff is kind of funny, but I also worry that it comes off as me just yelling over my guest.
I mean, I was yelling at you for a while there too. Don't worry.
Okay, as long
Yelling
as it
is
goes both
fun.
ways. It's not abuse if it goes
I was
both
yelling
ways.
at
It's
you.
just a
Of course,
fight.
It was always playful. It was playful. It was a playful yelling about Star Wars. I don't actually care about media so strongly that like I would normally yell at you, but
This is a call out to Zeus Service. Zeus Service, you are ruining the brains of our children. It was bad enough with one course meal, and now Squid Baby.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Chemo is laughing. He knows.
What is Zeus Service?
Okay, you gotta understand. Chemotherapy. No. Let me explain it. Chemotherapy and I, weirdly enough, we've had like the exact same experiences in our life. So I can make weird obscure references like that and know for a fact that he's gonna get it. So there's this YouTuber named Mr. Enter who does cartoon reviews, and he's sort of a lolcow, and I kind of don't get it. I think it's just because he takes things a little bit too seriously and he's autistic that people are like, oh, let's laugh at this guy. But he
milkshake duck as well.
He is what? I don't.
Oh, you've never heard of a milkshake duck?
No, let me explain my point here. This dude,
okay.
he does take things a little bit too seriously, but it's like I still enjoy his work, but I can poke fun at him. Like when I'm talking too seriously about cartoons, I will send the detective emoji because his mascot is like a detective to like make fun of myself. And he used to call out the individual writers of each episode. And Zeus Service is this dude who wrote, honestly, yeah, he wrote most of the worst episodes of SpongeBob. And he used to like he had beef with Zeus Service. He had like little cartoon skits where he would like track him down and argue with him and shit. It was wild.
It's like he said stuff like these people don't deserve jobs. These people are less than human.
Yeah, it was wild.
Shit like that.
It was an obscure reference.
Before I forget, a milkshake duck is a reference to a Tumblr post in which someone was like, "Hey, look at this duck. Look, this is the wholesome duck who eats milkshake. More news at 11. Wholesome Nate." And then the very next day, it has been found out that the duck was racist. Like it was like, oh yeah, where a person is just kind of unapologetically enjoyed, has a fan base because they aren't political at all. But then suddenly they do a thing, and now everyone turns on them because they were actually secretly a bad person the whole time.
This is why I'm openly a bad person all the time. So my entire fan base knows exactly.
Harry Potter, whatever the fuck her name was, the person who wrote Harry Potter, she's the Queen Milkshake Duck.
I don't know if you actually don't know her name or if you're just not saying it's the.
It's not entering my brain at the moment.
Okay, that's
for some reason I tried. Okay, for some reason I kept trying to like conjure up her name in my brain, and I opened the file cabinet full of names, and the only thing that was coming
Margaret
up was
Thatcher too. You thought of Tara Strong because I mentioned Tara Strong being a Zionist, which is
exactly
equally as bad in your mind.
Yeah, that milkshake duck. That was what that was.
No, I kind of expected that out of Tara. I expected that out of Tara Strong, though. I mean, I kind of know her enough to. So I'm openly a bad person, right? I am not quiet about any of my opinions, and my whole fan base knows it. And that's how you have to do it, right? Is you have to court a fan base who knows what to expect from you. That's why you can look at someone like Zach Hadel, who says some shocking
you're like
shit.
A reverse milkshake duck.
I don't agree with you on everything. There are things that I say that you would strongly disagree with.
Sure, but what I mean is like you were very gruff and you're very loud and very opinionated.
Exactly. So I can't.
In the core of it, you are a decent person, and not the other way around, where a person appears to be good and then turns out to be a terrible person.
So okay, we're gonna do a little bit more relativism here. I'm a good person by your standards and by my standards. But the point is, whatever you believe, if you have strong opinions, people are gonna be turned off by them, right? Scott Cawthon for a long time didn't say anything, and it came out that he was a conservative. Can you believe the guy that lives in Texas and made religious games is a conservative? And everyone was like freaked out about it. He didn't really say anything about the furry side of his fan base, but I'm sure if he came out and was like pro furry or whatever, that the Christian audience would also have the same reaction. My point is that my audience knows what to expect from me. They're not gonna suddenly have something come out that's gonna change their perspective on me. You know what I mean?
Yeah. FNAF was never that good, and when I found out that
oh my god, you're missing the point. You're doing the thing.
I know.
You're doing bad man bad. Okay, bad man bad. Focus on my point.
Scott, yeah, fucking You don't want to be in a position like Game Grumps where they spent like so long cultivating like a
Oh,
wholesome
Game Grumps.
attitude
Yeah,
and like
dude.
Yeah,
They've
Game
always
Grumps,
censored
milkshake
themselves,
nuts,
man.
both of them.
They've always. For me, the thing is, I don't really Dan. I don't really have an opinion on him. Aaron, I have an opinion on because we're
Eh,
cut from the
Sean's
same
fine.
cloth. Me and Aaron are cut from the same cloth. He grew up in Florida. He
yeah,
he grew up using Newgrounds. My girlfriend compared me to him a lot, like just personality and comedy wise. And seeing that man do the iDubbbz thing before iDubbbz did the iDubbbz thing, where he just sort of like censors himself when he's not even necessarily doing anything wrong, and he's just sort of like you can see it with how Dan acts, right? So Dan, when he first joined Game Grumps, was unsure of like who he was allowed to be, and he would always like be worried and like be like, can I, hey Aaron, is that okay?
What are you talking about with the iDubbbz thing? Because in my head, the iDubbbz story is he used to be like a like a really gruff and like little bit of a piece of shit, and then later in life learned from his mistakes and became a better person, and he's a better person now than he was back then.
So the way
Like,
I
that's
view
who iDubbbz is to me.
who I what I okay I made a whole point to Chemo not to like get into edgy topics like this with you, and now I've brought them up. So the way I look at iDubbbz is like this. He used shock humor, and I thought he was funny. And I understood that anytime he used special vocabulary words, he never actually meant it in a hateful way. He was doing it to be shocking, as was the style at the time. And as the years went on, he stopped doing that, and that was fine. Whatever, you change as a person, your tastes change, the times change, whatever. Okay, fine. Then he goes back and he apologizes for what he did in the past, which tells me, hold on, was he not being shocking? Was he hateful? Was I wrong? I thought that he was just being shocking. I thought that he was just saying things because it was funny. Was he actually a racist, homophobic guy? Because he wouldn't be apologizing if he didn't do anything wrong. So what he's now done, this is worse than Aaron, to be honest, because Aaron just changed. She didn't like self-report. What iDubbbz did essentially was self-report. I previously did not think that he was a bad person, but now, due to the fact that he's felt the need to apologize for things he did in the past, it recontextualizes those things in my head from being just shock humor to being, oh no, was he actually a shitty guy? You see what I'm saying?
I think I always thought he was a bad person and is now a better person.
I never thought he was a bad person. I thought he was just an edgelord. I didn't think he
I
actually
thought he was a
meant
bad
any of the
person
hateful
'cause,
things he said. I thought he was just
the
saying it to
people
be
who
edgy.
like really overuse slurs or like if you like use slurs like a fuck ton, like there's no way that there's not something underneath that you're just doing it for shock humor, because it's not. There's always something. There's always a core of something kind of gross there.
I just did it for shock humor.
People improve over time.
When I was alive in
You're
2017,
a strange case. You're
well,
also a strange case.
anyone can be a strange case. You got to judge everyone as an individual.
Well, I mean, I know you personally. So there's like
okay.
Little, like,
So I think most people.
If I knew iDubbbz personally as a person, I might think the way you do.
I mean, you can never know anybody from just their persona. You never really know them as a person. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I mean, but you're very genuine.
I am, and that's part of why that's
as far as I can tell.
Part of why the like 3 fans I have like me is because this isn't a genuine persona like where people try to act relatable. This just kind of is me. Not always a good thing, to be frank.
It's you, but it's not all of you, as Hank Green says, or whatever.
Can you see all of me? Walk into my mystery.
Like I said, Hank Green, who sings that song.
No fucking way. I'll be right back, guys. Keep talking. I have a lot more to say, and I think this episode might need to be split up, but I feel like we're not out of content. But I need to pee.
We're gonna talk about Star Wars. I'm gonna talk about Star Wars while you're gone.
I need to pee and refill my water bottle, and I am not going to edit this, and I am just going to watch back in like a month when I finally upload this. So feel free to say whatever fucked up shit you want.
Go empty your bladder and then refill your bladder.
Empty my fucking balls if you don't shut up. Okay, bye.
Okay. Okay. You had some questions for me earlier that we got interrupted. Do you remember those?
No, I want to mention when Star Wars was up. I think the concept that Darth Vader's suit in the movie started to look like weird and plasticky,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's really funny that they thought that they did an in canon explanation for why it looked like that.
Really,
Because
what was the in canon explanation?
it's because like his suit is made of steel, but it's made of something called plastisteel, where it's like half
Oh,
plastic, half steel.
I mean, plastisteel is like a real thing. Like
Is that a fucking real? No way. That's
I
a
mean,
real
it's
thing.
okay. But like there are like metal-like polymers, like
Dude,
plasteel. Like it's not called plasteel. No, actually, it is
plastisteel.
called plasteel. It's a composite of fiberglass and steel, patented by automobile manufacturing Gurgle and first used in 1973. That shit's been around
Dude,
since 1973.
dude, we can make the fucking Darth Vader suit like IRL. What
Yeah,
the
yeah,
fuck?
plasteel is real. But it's
Er,
different. It's fucking it's like fiberglass and steel, so it's not
yeah.
super plasticky, but it is a real thing.
They have like a least favorite Adventure Time episode because
The
personally the one with
fucking any episode where he's being a player, where he's
he's like
doing the princess kissing bullshit, which I
he's like a
hate.
hustler.
I hated that shit. Any episode where he's a hustler.
I think I think
JT
it's kind of
Dogzone is a fucking bullshit character, and I hate him, despite
Jake
the
the
fact that I never even seen him.
Jake the dog is like sort of like the Andrew Tate of the Adventure Time universe. He was
God,
teaching people
don't
how to
I
hustle.
like
JT
I
Dogzone
like Jake
is
though.
Jake.
Don't compare.
JT Dogzone is Jake.
No,
Yeah,
He
no,
literally
no.
is
JT
Jake.
Dogzone is Ice King.
No, he's Jake. Jake
no,
the dog.
it's Jake. It's Jake.
It's
Jake
it's
the dog.
it's
Yeah,
it's Jake's
Oh
like pickup
God,
artist
why?
persona. Also, I heard all of that
I
because I have
never
Bluetooth
knew that.
headphones on. I forgot.
How did I not know this? How did I not know this?
His name is
How did I not
JT
know that?
Dogzone.
Yeah, I thought he
Jake
was
the
there were
dog.
other dogs in the universe who talk. He could have been another dog.
His name wouldn't have
You're
started
trying
with
to
a
justify, like,
J.
hindsight everything.
Sorry, is Jake's middle name Tiberius?
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know.
For some
Are you-
reason, the name Tiberius popped into my head. It's like, is Jake Tiberius?
No,
I
the
thought- okay,
T
never
is
mind. I
for
thought that was good.
the.
That was
He's
good.
Jake the dog. His middle name is the.
Jesus Christ. Okay. God. All right. I don't know why the word name Tiberius popped in my head. That doesn't make any sense.
Have you by
Also,
chance?
Darth Vader. The reason, did you know the reason Darth Vader can't shoot Force lightning is because he doesn't have arms underneath the suit, and so if he shot
What?
lightning out of his elbow stubs, it would fuck up the suit's electronics.
That's smart. That's smart shit. If he was better at the Force, though, he could redirect it. But he's not.
Yeah.
Anakin has never been known
Do you
for being
think- do you think if
skilled. He's known for being powerful. He's the Naruto
Did you know that
of
there's
the
a
Star Wars
Do
universe.
you know that there are lava lightsaber? Did you know that there is a lava lightsaber?
That sounds like some
Does it
dumb
like
shit a
droop down
13-year-old
or
would
like
come
leave
up
lava
with.
trails?
What it is? It's a special crystal that's only found on volcanic planets and like the core of volcanoes, and it can be used instead of a kyber crystal for a lightsaber. Except it causes a whole bunch of fucking like flames and slag to constantly spray out of it. So it's really fucking like
It's a shitty
unpleasant to
weapon.
wield. It's a really shitty weapon. It hurts the user a lot, but it's also really good against lightsaber users because it literally splatters against the fucking lightsaber and burns the person holding the lightsaber, his opponent.
Yeah,
So
a,
it's-
a regular gun would be so powerful in the Star Wars universe because if you block it with a
No, yeah,
lightsaber,
they
all you
exist.
have is a like if you try to block a bullet with a
They
lightsaber,
invented-
all you have is now you have a molten bullet flying at you.
They invented them. No, they literally invented guns specifically to fight lightsabers. That's a thing.
Isn't there like an
They're
honor
called like
code?
they're called kinetic weapons or something. I can't remember what they're called.
There might be
But
an
yeah,
honor
they-
code,
they
but I have a
literally
feeling
invented-
that the kind of guys that would use weapons specifically to fuck with lightsaber users don't have an honor code.
No,
Yeah,
I
no,
meant, like,
yeah, it was specifically invented to fight lightsaber wielders and Jedi, and it's fucked up. You know, it is. There are ways to get around it, and also like, but yeah.
I'm thinking probably the armor in the Star Wars universe wouldn't be made for that either. Like it's a sort of situation we have nowadays where like our weapons are so powerful that most armor, like we don't have big suits like we used to for swords and shit. Right, and I imagine that because most of the weapons they use are energy weapons, that their armor is set up to specifically absorb that energy, the light and the plasma, as opposed to stopping physical force. Right? Like you could probably just like stab a stormtrooper like with a knife.
If you took a regular katana and tried to attack the lightsaber would melt the like part of the katana that made contact with the lightsaber, and the rest of the katana would go forward and slash it only work once, but it would probably be enough to kill them.
I don't think that would be enough to kill. I think
they had to like do it. It would just.
Katanas aren't as powerful as lightsabers, though. I mean, you could probably. I feel like most Jedi Masters could probably take a solid sword chop to any part of their body. Because I imagine they have a similar thing going on that like Dragon Ball characters do, where like their mystical energy sort of makes them tougher. I don't know if that counts with Star Wars, but I know in Dragon Ball a lot of their toughness comes from their ki, not necessarily just their muscles.
There's probably a thing like that. Did you know that there's a lightsaber gun?
What does that even mean? That's just a blaster. Like what it?
No. It's not a blaster. It's where they use a kyber crystal, or not just a kyber crystal. You take a lightsaber. You have to plug the lightsaber into the special gun. It's only held by like librarians who are guarding all of like the Jedi like information, and it's just this super ultra powerful thing that fucking destroys the kyber crystal.
That's fucking dumb.
But it's way better than a blaster. It goes straight through lightsabers. It's more powerful than a lightsaber. It'll bust a hole through it.
That sounds like some shit that a dungeon master made up for Star Wars RPG to get their players to stop doing fuck shit. That's what that sounds like. That sounds like a dungeon master being like, okay, fuck you.
But it's only held by a fucking librarian, like the people.
Exactly. It's only held by the NPC. It's only held by the NPC that the DM specifically cooked up to get the players to stop doing fucked up shit.
Well, it's specifically to get the players to stop, not research the force power that annihilates the universe.
I don't want to expand on my world building, so I made a character to stop you. Fuck you, super ultra gun that shoots through the thing, that kills the gun that shoots the invisible dogs that eat the force fields that stop everything.
You are not allowed to learn how to make a force bomb. Fuck you.
I have a question. Is it the physical library? Why wouldn't they just store it in a flash drive or something?
Well, I mean, it's a whole bunch of crystal flash drives. What are they called? Fucking Omnicrons or whatever?
Oh.
It's basically a giant fucking library filled with billions of megabytes of information. I don't know how much.
300 megabytes. I prefer
something like that.
Retrofuturism, to be honest, because it's anachronistic enough that it's The Matrix and Cyberpunk 2077 and I Have No Mouth and I Must Scream, all of the straight up sci-fi shit, it all feels the same. But you look at something like Fallout, you look at something like Star Wars, you look at something like Star Trek, and it doesn't just feel like the future, it feels like here's a totally different world. You know what I mean? The tastes and the mindset has changed so much. And I enjoy that.
The sad part about that is Star Trek is the preferred future. It's the future if global warming didn't kill us all, or if socialism won.
Star Trek isn't just utopian. Star Trek is the good ending after a lot of struggle. A lot of struggle. Sure. If you hear the shit they talk about.
I'm well aware of the eugenics war.
Eugenics wars with an S. Eugenics wars.
Yeah, the eugenics wars. Yeah,
the Irish reunification of 2025.
I like Star Trek more than I like Star Wars, and I like Star Wars. So let me just tell you.
I like Star Trek more than I like Star Wars, and I don't like Star Wars.
I've been ranting about Star Wars this whole time. Now imagine if I was talking about the thing I care about more. All right.
The thing with Star Trek is I've only seen the original series, and I'm kind of scared to watch anything else because I like the very
Deep Space
pulpy. I like the very pulpy.
Wait. What do you mean the original series? You mean Kirk?
The original series with Captain Kirk. Yes.
Jesus Christ. All right.
I like that though. I like the very
the original series.
I love it. I love it. It's weird, campy bullshit. I love it. And that's why I'm scared to look at any of the newer Star Trek stuff because it seems like it's a lot more serious.
If you want weird, campy bullshit, you should watch Voyager. If you want space politics, you watch Deep Space Nine. And if you want the thing that everyone has watched and everyone likes, you watch The Next Generation.
The politics I never liked.
I feel like
They very rarely actually did politics in the
love
original
space
series.
politics.
The
Space
politics
Nine also
aspect of the original series was mostly like we're transporting a bunch of diplomats. Let's make sure they don't kill each other. I liked
It's also why I like the prequels as well.
I
love
liked
space
the
politics.
weird campy shit, but I also liked that within the weird campy shit, they genuinely had some like interesting thoughts. Like it was weird and silly and dumb, but it was also like, hey, can a human being love something that's completely different than a human being? Like not even like humanoid. Like this is a shape-shifting blob. Can we do that? Is that a thing we can do? And that was like part of the episode.
The only shape-shifting blob in Star Trek is in Deep Space Nine. It's Odo.
Bro did not watch the original series,
Isn't there
apparently.
Deep Space Nine is good. I think
You're
you'd like
not going
Deep
to
Space
tell me
Nine
that they had changelings in the original series.
They weren't called changelings. It was a weird blob. It was literally just a weird blob.
There's also,
It
there's
could
also
turn
blob in
into
the
people.
Orville.
It could turn into a person and look exactly like them.
There was a shapeshifter
As-
that was like an actual like changeling style shapeshifter. I don't think it was called that. It looked like a weird lake monster. That was separate from the blob, but the blob was a thing.
Okay.
As a Star Trek
Kirk
fan,
was fucked
what
up. Kirk's whole timeline's fucked up, alright?
I don't
What
know
do-
what
what do you
happened
think about
after
the
the
Orville,
original
by the way?
series, but I love, dude, I love
The
Captain
time-
Kirk. I have a
The
giant
time
crush on
cops
this man.
Constantly,
I have a
the
giant
time
crush on this man.
cops of the Star Trek universe still complain about Kirk.
I love this man. I wish I was an alien woman so that he could have his way with me. William Shatner, him as a real person, is kind of like an ignorant idiot. Like he's so unlike the character he played, but he's also like still even now old man fat William Shatner still is hot to me, and like he still has that charm to him. I don't know, man, but I prefer the character. Like he's.
Why does
Listen,
Kirk
I was
have to be
unsure. I was unsure if I was actually bisexual for a long time. And then I
If
watched
Kirk
the
was
original
a bottom,
series.
Would you fuck him?
If he was a top, I would fuck him, dude.
Okay, well, congratulations, you're bisexual.
I'm aware. Star Trek, the original series, was how I 100% confirmed I was bisexual. Because for a long time, I only really liked femboys. And so I was like, hold on, am I just attracted to the female form and just it having a dick just kind of doesn't bother me? Do I actually like men? And then I saw
With
him.
William Shatner, you fell in love. All right. William Shatner, played a character that you love.
It's the
And
character
now
more
you know.
so than the real man, for sure.
Absolutely. I mean, who I don't know. I don't give a shit about William Shatner as a person.
William
I don't know
Shatner
anything
doesn't
else he's
seem to
done.
understand the complexities of his own character is the funny part. Like, he went in there and said
He
his
just
lines
plays
and
him as is
didn't...
written.
But he didn't think about, because Captain Kirk himself was a very smart individual. Like he understood shit in a way that, like, the man playing him did not.
There's this really interesting episode of Deep Space Nine where they get sent back in time to the Kirk era, and they actually get inserted into a episode of the original series in the background, and like are doing shit while the tribbles are infecting the ship, and there's a bomb inside of a tribble.
Every
That
long-running
episode.
show does that. Every long-running show does that at some point.
It's good. It's good. They do it well.
Something I found interesting.
But what they do is they actually have the original series remastered, and then have the characters walk in the original scenes of the original show.
Yeah, I figured.
But like they're in the background, so it's like you could replace the original series with this new version, and you would not be able to tell the difference.
That's something Star Wars does. That's not, something,
Anyway,
I forgot. Fuck. Hold on.
all right.
you got-
William Shatner's hot. Let me say, but he's hot, but he's such a dick, and it's upsetting that
You
he's a
don't
dick, and you like the character more than the person.
You don't understand the complexity of his character.
Bisexual.
Hold on. I'm almost getting there. Say your thing again about time travel. Fuck time travel.
Kirk was very big on time travel, and the time cops fucking hate him for it.
I forget. I don't know.
Now.
I watched the original series. I only remember them time traveling a couple of times.
Tribbles. They explode. Or they don't explode. But
Scotty. The actor that played Scotty is missing a finger. But the character of Scotty is not missing a finger. And that's weird to me. Because even in the episodes, every once in a while, you'll catch a glimpse of his hand. But they always try to hide it. And the action figures and the animated series and anything shows the character with a full set of fingers. And I find that's a really interesting, weird detail. It's like when it's like when a character is pregnant, like when an actor is pregnant, but their character isn't, so they're always like hiding their lower half.
Mm-hmm.
I
I get you.
It's kind of funny that they're like so opposed to having like him missing a finger because
it was
conceit of Star Trek.
No, they were already in the shit for having a black woman.
The actor was the one that had the issue with it. Actually, he was really embarrassed about it.
What?
Yeah, it was like
the show didn't care about him missing a finger. The actor.
Studio. No. Oh, okay, the actor.
The actor was embarrassed
it was
about
supposed to be
having a missing finger.
Of like all these races like working together,
okay.
like in the future.
The race stuff was definitely controversial.
Oh yeah, it was so super controversial because there was a black woman and a white man kissing, and that set so many people off.
The funny thing is, in the episode,
there were protests. Yeah.
In the episode, it's not even like a big thing. Like I don't think they're like in love or anything. I think it's literally like a thank you for her on her end. They fucked her up though. They fucked up. I want to say Uhura is her name. They fucked her up so much. There was an episode where her memories got erased, and instead of like recovering those memories, they literally just taught her from like the ship's database how to be a person again. So she's like forgotten her entire life. All she knows is the fucking military propaganda. It's insane.
Damn.
Yeah.
Am I alone in saying that it's kind of hot that Uhura keeps teasing Spock for like being autistic? I'm
so glad that you ended the sentence the way that you ended it, and that it had nothing to do with the thing that I just said. Can I just thank you so much?
We have been doing that entire podcast.
No. I'm not being sarcastic. I am really happy that you did not fetishize the fact that she is a fucking propagandized, memory erased, like reverse lolly.
I'm also glad that I don't know where you were going with that, and like there was a sigh of relief from both me and Naga after you said the autism thing.
Dude.
Yeah, it was like we can agree, right? That
Spock is not autistic. He's
autistic.
No, he's not. He's stoic.
Is he not?
He has Vulcans have the same emotional capacity.
Vulcans are autistic.
They don't. Vulcans have the same emotional capacity as humans. They just follow a very stoic philosophy. They have emotions.
More emotions.
They have emotions.
Stronger emotions.
That's why they need to keep them in check.
Yeah, because they're absolutely they got them super emotions. They got if for the Warhammer enjoyers out there, they got the fucking Eldari ass emotions. If they aren't careful, they summon fucking Slanesh.
I mean, they are space elves.
Yes,
it's
literally are.
It's like if a human, with a human, if you'd have to be like, fuck your mother to get them to swing at you. With a Vulcan, it'd basically just be like, I disagree.
I'm reasonably sure because Games Workshop is a hack company and they love stealing shit. Not like they don't give a shit about they take intellectual property and make it their own fucking all the time, but then if anyone else tries to do shit, they fucking hammer it. But
oh man, I like the first half of that sentence.
Eldari are fucking. Sorry, what?
I like the first half of that sentence. The part where they
Workshop does not give a shit about copyright unless someone's infringing on their copyright, and then they're assholes. Like they killed every fan series all at once. One of my favorite series, they killed it. They killed every fan series, and they're the worst. I fucking hate them. They're like worse than fucking.
They're not.
Wizards of the Coast.
They're not.
What have they made?
The Wizards of the Coast hired literal bootlicker mercenaries, dude. They hired the Pinkertons.
I'm aware they hired the Pinkertons. I'm not entirely sure Games Workshop didn't.
All right.
Who's Games Workshop? I don't know what are they.
Whoa,
people
Pinkerton,
beforehand-
Pinkerton like Weezer.
Like,
The Pinkerton Detective Agency is basically the bad guy in every single cowboy movie, and they're also basically like they're corporate thugs. They're the corporate military that isn't supposed to exist but does because of capitalism.
They're mercenaries.
And basically, because a dude bought cards that he wasn't supposed to buy early, they sent a corporate thug to his house to make his wife cry until he gave it back, and
no
threatened
fucking.
them.
That's like tragic, but also really fucking funny. The idea of like
The Pinkertons
Yeah,
kill people.
That exact
Really?
scenario is the reason why
They
the
have
Second Amendment
killed
exists,
people.
by the way. Because
Like,
if
'cause it's like,
if
I
a
thought
group of
it's
strangers
like
comes to
the
your house and
Americans are
intimidates your
like-
wife, you know what you do?
They've
You shoot
existed
them.
since the Old West, and they still
Crazy.
exist, and they have killed people.
And the specific event that
They've
he's talking
existed
about,
since
by
the-
the way, happened last year.
Yes,
That's
happened
That-
last year.
at least they didn't kill anyone
l-
this time.
Well, I mean, the government's a little bit on their ass because of all the murder they did. But they still got away with it. They
Fucking
still do that shit.
insane.
They're still corporate. They're the corporate mafia. They still do that shit.
Again, I'm telling you, man, a situation like this is exactly why the Second Amendment exists. If a group of strangers comes into your house and starts intimidating your wife, you shoot them. All right? Listen,
Intimidated his
I
wife
know.
and threatened legal action and like did all did
I-
the scary like
I know-
cop shit.
I know that I'm an edgy leftist and I hate America and everything. But what do you think my solution to getting rid of the police is? It's arming the
I
citizens.
know that you're gonna go to jail for shooting a cop later in life. I know this is just the fact of life. It's gonna happen.
That's not
But
the point I'm making. The point I'm making is that if a gang of thugs attacks you, you have the right to defend yourself.
well, he was in a suit and like basically had the like I am the Pinkerton. We are the Pinkerton Detective
sure?
Agency. Like,
Oh,
like,
the Pinkerton
they were
Detective
showing
Agency.
themselves-
Do you work for the government? Do you work for the government?
They basically, I mean, the wife thought they probably thought they did because she never asked, but like it was a 3-letter agency, like they pretended to be feds essentially.
My
They act
reaction,
like they were feds.
my
They're corporate
opinion is legally different if they are a 3-letter entity. I do not support.
They aren't
defending
they are not
yourself.
literally a 3-letter.
They're not, which is why I'm okay
Not
with it.
technically a
The
government.
Pinkertons are not a government entity, which is why I support shooting any Pinkerton that enters your house illegally. If they are a government
Yeah,
agent,
yeah,
I do not recommend that because that is not good, guys.
I had a coworker.
I did
had
not
an old
support-
coworker who worked for the Pinkertons.
You should have beat
damn,
his
what the
ass,
fuck?
bro.
I'm a
You
security guard. No, he's an old man and his wife died and he left and stopped being a security guard.
Mhm.
But yeah, he also believed in ghosts really fucking hard.
A lot of people do. That's not that crazy.
No, like this dude. Okay, he told me some ghost stories about like how his house was haunted and he saw a shadow staircase with shadow people with glowing red eyes came down the staircase and he had to hide in his daughter's room because it was the only safe place in the house.
Real?
This man believes in ghosts so hard he sees them.
Are you sure maybe it's not the
Sounds
other
like-
way
it sounds like he
around?
just got them.
Are you sure maybe he's not just mentally ill and believes the things he sees are real?
He isn't. I mean, this is a story from when he was younger. He's not the type of person to have done shrooms. So
I was
unless
gonna
somebody
say it
drugged
kinda
him,
sounds like he's just
he
accidentally ate
he
edible
believes
or
he is
something.
crazy. He is mentally ill because ghosts aren't real, but he believes they are, and that's just a side thing. He also used to work for the Pinkertons. Just like a side fact I learned about him, and I was like, it was like, and I kept that to myself because I was a new security guard, but I thought that was really fucked up. And then his wife and his son died, like within a week of each other, and then he just quit.
I was gonna say, do you think maybe
That was
his
too
loved
fucking
one?
much for
I
him.
was gonna say maybe his loved ones dying is what made him believe in ghosts as like a cope.
No, the ghost was way before. Ghosts happened way before. He was still like the ghosts thing happened when he was just a normal adult and not an elder adult.
Dead air, dead air, dead air, dead air, dead air, dead air, dead air.
Dead air.
As a
Ghosts.
as a kid,
Fortnite Meow Skull right and Tucker Carlson fucking.
Let's not. Oh my god, dude! My manager at work has a Tucker Carlson mug that he's always carrying around, and it's weird. No, no, no. Let me elaborate, dude. Because he's not at all like what you would imagine from my description. He's the nicest guy. He's the nicest manager ever. He doesn't overwork us. He's totally considerate of everyone's lives. He doesn't go off about politics unless you ask him. He's like, if he didn't have that mug, you would have never thought that he was anything like that. It's weird.
Yeah, it's a thing.
He's like a normal person.
Yeah, people are ignorant about when they are taught things. It's not their fault necessarily. It's their fault if they start doing shit.
He's one of those guys that I think that if I my manager is one of those guys that I think if I sat down with him, I could red pill him on life. I don't mean red pill here in the 4chaner sense. I mean it in the general like think what I think
Expose
sense.
The truth,
Yeah, expose him to the truth.
You could green pill him. I don't know, fucking whatever. What was I saying?
Snakes and anime are purple. I could purple pill him.
Tucker Carlson actually doesn't believe in anything.
No, not Tucker. Not Tucker. My manager.
Okay. Oh, okay. Sorry. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Do you think I'm so full of myself? Do you think I'm so full of myself that I think that I could change the political leanings of like a famous dude? Also, yeah, no, I would. I don't want to talk to him at work about politics. I just want to get my paycheck. But I'm saying if I knew him from outside of work, I think I could.
Yeah, Tucker Carlson's the man who talked to Putin, and then Putin was like, "The whole universe is in a hot, dense state."
The Tucker Carlson is a literal. I don't know if it's.
We do it live, right? That's the guy. That's Tucker
No,
Carlson.
you're thinking of oh fuck, I don't know his name.
Was that Bill O'Reilly?
Bill Maher, I think.
I
don't know. It was one of those guys. It was one of those. It was one of those.
Bill Maher's the fake liberal, right?
It was one of those old, angry political guys. Bill Maher was never a liberal, even back whenever he claims he was a liberal.
Like I said, he's a fake liberal.
No, but I mean, he says, "Oh, progressives have changed. I'm just a normal person from 10 years ago." But if you look back 10 years ago, he wasn't a normal person from 10 years ago. He was
a fake liberal the entire time.
The entire time, yeah.
He's a grifter.
A lot of them are grifters. I think that he at least believes some of his own bullshit is the thing. I think that he's not honest. I don't think he's honest about what he believes whenever he says shit like I'm a normal person from 10 years ago. But I do think that he has beliefs. You know what I mean? People like Candace Owens. I bring up Candace Owens specifically. She's the one who I know the name of, who like is confirmed. A lot, specifically of right wing like political commentators, are like straight up actually actors and actually like controlled opposition. Like a lot of people. Okay, before I say his name, Bad Man Bad. All right, Redcap. All right, we can establish Bad Man Bad, right?
I'm aware of Bad Men Be Bad.
Okay. Alex Jones. I do not think he believes. I don't just think he's exaggerating. I think he is a liberal. I think Alex Jones, the real man, is a liberal in private, and he is controlled opposition, both to make right-wingers look insane and to actually drive them insane.
No, he's caused too much real-life harm for that to be the case.
You don't think there's anyone heartless enough to cause others horrible harm for money?
I think Alex Jones honestly believes a lot of what he says, but then pretends not to in court.
I disagree. I think that court is where the real man comes to bear. I really do think that he is just a straight up liberal who has no conscience and takes money to act like an insane right winger and drive people mad.
Do you know what you call a liberal with no conscience?
A liberal? I call a liberal with no conscience a liberal, man. That's
if
part
you're
of
a
the
liberal
definition.
And then you do okay, sorry, no, let me rephrase. If you are a liberal that pushes the right wing agenda and actually successfully does push the right wing agenda, you're right winger.
You're talking about like
I don't
consequences.
care what the man's internal beliefs is. Completely irrelevant.
I'm talking about his internal
the actual
beliefs.
physical impact. On
Bad
the
man,
world,
bad. Bad man, bad. Bad man, bad. Bad man, bad.
I don't care about his feelings. He doesn't. I don't care if he even has them.
Listen,
If he's a
Alex.
robot,
Listen,
a lizard
Alex. Alex,
doesn't matter.
facts don't care about your feelings, Alex.
The impact the man has on the world outweighs any internal, like, I don't give a shit. The man
I'm not
is an
saying
empty
he's a good
void
person.
inside for all
I'm
I
not
care.
saying he's a good person.
It doesn't
Even
have
in
to
my
be.
own story, he's a bad person, just in a different way. I still think he's a bad person. I just think that he's saying insane shit that he doesn't believe. In the same way that Tucker Carlson says insane shit he doesn't believe. How there's literal recordings of him saying, like, I think Trump's a dumbass.
Yeah, I don't think Tucker Carlson believes in anything. I think Alex Jones believes some crazy conspiracy shit and then pretends not to, and is also just the worst. But like, it doesn't matter.
Alex's
There's no physical
current
impact to those
persona
feelings.
comes out of who he used to be before he took the insane turn. He used to actually look into actual conspiracies, stuff like corruption and stuff like that. And at some point, he took a
The
giant.
CIA killed Martin Luther King.
Yes. For example, stuff like that. And then he took a super hard turn suddenly and randomly. And I don't think that was just him actually developing as a person.
You think he saw where the money was coming from and decided, fuck it, I'm gonna lean in this because I believe in money and nothing else.
Yes, because whenever he was in the big court case because of Sandy Hook, was it Sandy Hook? It was one of those shootings that he denied, and he went to court for it. During that time, he got like a $500 million fucking donation. He got like insane Bitcoin millionaire donations from mysterious donors.
Glad it's all going away.
Here's
every cent the man ever earned for
here's
the rest of his life is
here's
going
the real
to
conspiracy.
people.
The real conspiracy is that the man who claims that he was telling you about all these conspiracies was part of the conspiracy. That's the real conspiracy.
Alex Jones is just controlled opposition. Right.
Yes.
That's it. If you like, if I think it doesn't matter, but like I feel like if you think that Alex Jones is like just a tool, then you're like just as crazy as he is.
I'm crazy to think that a man would give up his actual beliefs for money. Isn't that like the whole core conceit of both of our ideologies?
That's not the part I'm taking issue with. It's that a person with the thing is, Alex Jones had money. Alex Jones had plenty of money. If he actually didn't believe some of the things that he says, he could have just quietly disappeared from public view and lived his entire life in perfect opulence.
Do you think that the kind of people that are used as tools just have the carrot? It's a carrot and a stick.
Eventually, you get to retire, is the thing. And Alex Jones has been going for a lot longer in real controlled opposition.
You don't get to retire from the mafia.
Which mafia?
You ever hear that term? You ever hear that phrase? You can't retire from the mafia?
Okay, what political party do you think is controlling Alex Jones?
I assume by political party you don't mean literal like voting party. I assume you mean just like a general faction.
The zone, the political zone where they exist in. Do you think George Soros is paying off Alex Jones specifically? Like, do you think this is coming from a left?
I don't want to name
a centrist liberal.
I think it's coming from the people that have the money. I think it's coming from the general elite class. So yes, George Soros might be part of that, but I'm not going to specifically call him out because whenever someone says George Soros, what they really mean is the Jews,
yeah.
And I'm not.
I don't mean that.
He may be
George Soros, the liberal.
But I think it's just generally those people. I think it's not a left wing, right wing thing. I think it is as Richard Wolff once said, it's system sustaining. If any leftover crack fans know about that little clip from whatever.
Leftover crack?
It's a band called Leftover Crack. These actions are system sustaining. It's not about the particular costs.
Like, oh yeah, I'm a fan of.
It's about maintaining the overall capitalist system.
The leftovers of crack, like
and that's what it is. It's about maintaining the system. It's about making people. It's about making people who look in to conspiracies look like psychos. And it's easier to do this with right-wing people than it is with left-wing people, because left-wing people look into conspiracies and they're right. Name me a left-wing conspiracy that's been proven. You can name me 15 left-wing conspiracy theories that have been proven right.
COINTELPRO. That's the only one I can think of.
I can't think of any left wing conspiracies because they're usually not as fun.
JFK's assassination, Martin Luther King's assassination.
Martin Luther King's assassination is not confirmed. Sorry.
Martin Luther King's assassination is more confirmed than JFK's assassination. There's
not. There was letters telling him to kill himself, but there's no evidence that he was actually shot by a CIA agent.
He wasn't shot by a CIA agent. He was shot by a prisoner who was being he was shot by a prisoner who was taking orders from CIA agents. If you read my comic Kill All Boneheads, do you know this is the scenario with Max Sterner Jr. in my hit comic Kill All Boneheads?
Also, it doesn't matter which three-letter agency. The U.S. government, I think, killed Martin Luther King Jr.
You know my hit comic. Yeah. You know my hit comic Kill All Boneheads.
Yeah.
I've heard some things about it. I don't know. It doesn't really super seem like it for me. Anyway.
So you know the thing that I did with Naga's ex in that? How he escapes prison specifically to kill Naga at the behest of a government agent?
Was that like a fucking... I didn't catch
JFK.
It was a reference to Martin Luther King, but
Oh, okay.
It's a general thing that happens. The government agents are never the ones that pull the trigger. They get lackeys. They get people who don't realize how deep into the shit they're in.
I don't like conspiracism because it often leads to people like, first you believe the conspiracies that are true, like the uranium files or the
chemtrails.
Not
chemtrails. Fuck off.
Chemtrails aren't real. Fuck you. The uranium files or COINTELPRO or all of that, which is history, and the shit's on Wikipedia. That everyone knows that shit. That's real, confirmed. And then you believe that shit, and then you start, and then
the Tuskegee experiment.
What?
The Tuskegee experiment.
Where they gave people a bunch of syphilis, right?
I didn't know about that one.
Yeah, Tuskegee experiments. It's the government was trying to get information on how syphilis works, so they found a bunch of poor black people, gave them quote unquote free medicine, and what they were actually doing was infecting them with syphilis, not telling them they had syphilis, and then just tracking what happened to them.
Watching them die. Yeah. The uranium files are basically the same thing, except it was pregnant black women and uranium injections.
I think there's a pattern between those two. Interesting how the government feels about certain groups of people and their disposability to the government, huh?
Yeah, and then the guy trying to stop that, and the guy they pushed over specifically to try to stop him from stopping them from doing that, because both of those predate the fucking.
So, if you would allow me, you're about to make an argument about pipelines, right? You start believing real stuff, and then you start believing fringe insane stuff. I've never took pipelines are just a slippery slope argument. That's all it is. Like, I'm not stupid. I have my mental faculties about me. I can look at things and say, oh, this checks out. This makes sense. This doesn't. I'm not going to just start believing more and more extreme shit. And I respect other human beings enough to not look at them that way. Like, just being presented with an idea doesn't mean you're going to believe it. There is a point where you have a cutoff.
But no, I mean, that isn't exactly... The pipeline thing was not exactly what my argument was going to be. It was going to be everyone has biases. And if you start making leaps in logic, your biases will play into that. And you'll start believing conspiracies purely because you have a bias.
Like how I believe...
If you start making leaps in logic, or you start doing moon logic, I don't know what your internal biases are. Everyone has an internal bias.
Hold on, I have one. I have one. I believe... Oh, you're going to be mad at me for this one. I believe that... I'll wait till we're on another episode that you're not on to say this one, because I actually do believe that one. Never mind. Obama faked the moon landing. JFK did 9/11.
Hey,
I think the government. I think any
I
conspiracy
want
theory
you
where
to be honest with me and tell me the thing you were gonna say.
No.
Then we're done having a conversation.
Fine. I think
I feel like most
I
I want
think
you like I care about you because you were genuine and honest with me, and if you start hiding your personal feelings from me, that's gonna bother me.
I think
You
that
don't know how
the
I'm gonna
whole
react until you tell me.
I think that the whole like neo pronouns thing and just generally the sort of what I would call the made up bullshit that's been pushed and sort of wedged into the gay and trans community was part of a psyop to sort of split them apart. You know what I mean? So division by mixing in kind of dumb random shit with like legitimate shit. Leftist infighting happens naturally, but there's a little bit too much unity for a little bit too long.
Okay, that's not that bad. I don't know why you thought I was gonna it would ruin our friendship by that, because I'm aware of the Mo guy shit. All right, I'm like to the point where like I'm like neopronouns are gonna be fine. They're gonna be fine later because
If they're fine later, why aren't they fine
children.
now? I'm not the kind of person that believes in like moral relativism. I think if something's fine, it's always fine.
Well, I mean, I do think it's fine because it hasn't done like any damage. Like if it was a psyop, it failed. The psyop failed.
Most psyops fail in the internet age because mimetic warfare is not so easily waged.
Exactly. So like it's okay. You're allowed to believe that that's how it started. That's fine. That's like not even that bad. That's not even bad really.
Have you seen the actual CIA meme
All right,
folder?
I've seen the fucking. Have you seen the fucking Ender gender flag? Like I'm aware of this. I'm aware of the shit that makes me want to end it all, because a 12-year-old
They're so
on the
valid.
really
They're
really
so
likes dreaming.
valid.
All right,
Ooh,
I
they're so
hate
valid though.
gastrogenders. I fucking hate gastroqueers. Okay,
Oh,
food genders.
somebody YouTube
Food,
poop.
people who
Someone's
are
gonna
people who
someone's
believe
gonna
their gender is burger.
someone's gonna
I
YouTube
am
poop.
not joking.
Someone's gonna YouTube poop, edit it to make it sound like you just said I hate queers without the food part
I
in the
am
middle.
queers.
they can do
Fuck
much
you, I am
worse.
cat
He said,
gender.
like,
Ross, I know you're listening to
they can do,
this. Make the YouTube poop.
they can do much worse because he said Plo Koon a bunch of times.
He did. He just
What slur can you even make out of that?
so do you know what people call raccoons for short?
Okay.
That's a word that's also used for African American individuals.
Yeah, fucking like Cartman's like hero
Like
persona in
Cartman's
South
superhero
Park.
persona. It's actually a racial slur.
Okay. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
aware.
I actually
I'm
did
aware.
not
I
know
played
about.
I played Fractured Butthole.
It's a good
I didn't
game.
know
I
actually
like
that
that
was a slur
game.
until like I don't know. Until like
It was.
I knew it because
I
I
don't.
read
I don't mind the games. I kind of like the games, but my hot take about South Park is that it's got this kind of enlightened centrist problem where it equates two things that are definitely not equal.
I don't think they're centrist. I
then
think
makes
they're
them
libertarians. They're not centrists. They are libertarians, and it's
No,
not
but
even a
that's
secret.
what I mean by enlightened centrist. It's like the huge quotes where it's like, "See, I'm a centrist," and then is actually just right wing. Like,
So here's my hot take: the video games feel like an entirely separate universe from the show.
I agreed. That's not even a hot take. That is an ice cold take. Everyone believes that. Anyone who doesn't believe that is stupid.
Like
Right.
the vibes are different. Like I know
I've
I
read
bring
originally.
here's another generational warfare thing. The video games feel very millennial to me. That's all.
Difficulty slider.
You know the thing is you can change your character's skin tone after you do the difficulty slider. It's just a joke.
can?
Yeah.
Yeah. It actually doesn't affect difficulty, right?
Oh, it doesn't? I thought it did.
I don't think it actually affect. I think it
I've
does.
re-
I think it doesn't actually affect difficulty.
I've read.
I think it
somewhere
says I
that
think no, I
like,
think what it
influences
says
the amount of money you get.
I think what it literally says whenever you're choosing it is it doesn't affect how strong enemies are, just everything else.
Yes.
It's so real though.
Just everything else, meaning
Just
your
everything
life.
else.
Like it's a joke about.
Yeah.
It's about black people's lives are harder. Noticeably, Like that's it. That's the joke.
But then the joke in South Park is that's the
like-
exact opposite. The only black kid in town is like super rich and well off.
No, that's because they're in a red lines town or whatever.
Redlining usually works the other way around though. They're in a green line town.
No, I mean, I'm talking about white settlement Texas.
Yeah, they're the opposite
Which is
of
a
that
real
though.
place.
All the white people are poor as shit in South Park. The one black family is super well off and rich. It's the opposite.
Exactly. No, that's the thing. That's the thing. That white towns exist. Specifically white poor
why they
towns
came
where
into
only one
existence.
rich person can get there because they're the only ones who can get in. Like that's a thing. It's a real thing. That's a redlining thing. Anyway, you have to be ultra rich in order to be a black person who gets to live there. That's a thing.
Except Chef. Chef was normal.
I guess that would happen to Chef. When there's a whole Scientology thing.
Yeah, the fucked up thing is his actor did not give a shit. The Church of Scientology themselves intervened.
Yeah, like he quit for him. That was fucked up.
Yeah.
He was a Scientologist.
He was.
Yeah, he was a
And
Scientologist.
when they made an episode about
Feel bad for the guy.
Scientology, the church got mad.
And forced him to quit. Yeah, I
Yeah.
feel bad for him.
Kind of shitty.
I feel bad for every Scientologist except the rich ones.
Chef's actor was rich. He was like a famous like R&B soul singer before he like South
was an
Park voice
author.
acting was just a side job.
Yeah. Oh, we're talking
Okay,
about
well.
we're talking about the guy who
Well,
made
I mean,
Scientology.
I still feel bad for them, but I feel less bad because
No, we're talking about the guy that played
they
Chef,
have to-
not the guy that started Scientology.
Yeah, I thought you meant by like Ron Hubbard.
No, I'm talking about Chef's voice.
Ron
actor.
Hubbard, the guy who Ron Hubbard, the guy who wrote mediocre science fiction.
Yeah.
By the way, if you're a Scientologist, come to my house. You won't leave.
It's because he's a
Yeah.
Mormon and he's gonna convert you to his religion.
Which is, which is the religion in which you dream other universes and actually travel there.
That's what I was talking about earlier with my dreams and the one guy that mentioned that. It's come full
Yeah, it's
circle.
called shifting.
And that's the
Yeah.
real horseshoe theory.
That's a perfect end to the thing. Please end it. End the
I
recording.